How's it going, my friends? This is Charizard James here with another... Oh wait, it's not a deck tech, it's a set review. We're going to go over Jumpstart Historic Horizons today. A new set coming to Historic with a bunch of new cards. And we're going to be going over a lot of these today. Now, we're going to be going over some cards that are exclusive to Historic, that are might be a little bit unable to do in paper. There's going to be some cards that make other cards and put other cards in your deck, similar to a mechanic like Hearthstone and things like that. So you will not be able to play this format in paper Magic, and that's on purpose. We're going to go over some mechanics. We're going to go over some new cards. I'm super excited with some decks that this is going to create in Historic. And also there's some nostalgic cards in here as well. Spoiler alert. Just kidding. I'm not going to give you a spoiler. You'll have to watch. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a general premise, go over some mechanics, and then we're going to go over some cards. So Jumpstart Historic Horizons, I'm literally reading this right off the page here for you, is an MTG Arena exclusive digital only set to be released on August 12th, 2021. You take 2 themed boosters from a total of 46, shuffle them together, and play against your opponent to bring you a mixture of constructed and limited experience. Now that is going to be part of the flavor of how this is going to be represented for us on Arena. But you can also just craft the cards and play in your decks in Historic competitively, and that is what we're going to be doing coming up on streams. So we have our set details. We know it's released on August 12th. It's going to be 2,000 gold or 400 gems to enter it on Arena. But we're going to go over the actual set review and cards and mechanics. And the set details are mainly for Arena, so we're going to go ahead and skip those. The mechanics are going to be a few mechanics that we haven't seen before in Magic. We have Seek, randomly pulls a card or cards from your library that meets the criteria without shuffling afterwards. Perpetually means it modifies a specific card permanently, even as it enters other zones of play. This includes the graveyard, deck in hand, and exile. Conjure creates a card for you to use, and can include uncollectible cards that aren't otherwise in a set or format, such as Ponder, Stormfront, Pegasus, and Tropical Island. Tropical Island is on Arena, but it will only be able to be conjured and not an actual card. Now, we go to the spoilers and card list. We have some Modern Horizon 1 cards. We have some Modern Horizon 2 cards. We have new reprints, new to Arena, and new digital-only cards. Thank you for the sub, A-Rock. I appreciate you. Now, we're gonna start with new digital-only cards. We're not going to go over every single card, like I said before, but we will be going over ones that I think will shape up the format quite nicely here. We have Faceless Agent here, which this will be a good card in a couple of decks that will be, I will go over later on here. I've seen the cards before. This is the official review, so I know that Faceless Agent might be a really big part in some decks coming up, so you just wait. We have Boneyard Partisan here. Lifelink, 2-mana, 1/2. Whenever you cycle another card, you may pay 1 and a white. If you do, return Boneyard Partisan from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, and it perpetually gets +1/+0. This is the first opportunity that we see for a new keyword. Now, when it says perpetually gets +1/+0, that is always gets it, no matter if it changes zones. Like I said before, if it goes to hand from the graveyard, keeps the +1/+0. Stays in the graveyard, +1/+0. Goes to exile, comes back out of the exile, goes back on the battlefield, goes back into your hand, goes in your deck, and then you play it, and you draw it again, and play it out of your hand on the battlefield again. After all those things have happened, it is still +1/+0. That's something that is brand new to Magic, and is pretty impossible to track in paper. So that is what's going to be in Historic. So this is a precursor to maybe a cycling deck that is going to be getting some new cool tools here on Arena. Like I said, Faceless Agent, going 2 more to the left here. 3-mana, 2/1 Changeling. When Faceless Agent enters the battlefield, seek a creature from the most prevalent creature type in your library. Now, this is the Seek mechanic, and like I said, the Seek mechanic gives you a random card from your library without shuffling. So, seek a creature of the most prevalent creature type in your library. So, say you're playing an Elves deck, this is going to get you a random Elf from deck to hand. If you're playing a Humans deck, random human from deck to hand, and so on and so forth. So I think this is going to be a very good card in tribal decks. We have I don't think... Let's read Leon and Sanctifier real quick. 2 mana 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature card in your hand. It perpetually gains lifelink. Now, this is not going to be a constructed playable card, but so we were going to skip this. Lumbering Light Shield here as I think a card that I think will actually see play maybe as an anti-aggro tool against other aggro decks slash mono red slash Boros slash things that are aggro-y. Or it'll just be played as a card that makes your opponent's cards cost more mana. Not only that, but it is able to be hit to the battlefield from Collected Company. I said that weird, but you know what I mean. You can Collected Company into this and hit your opponent's hand, getting this with an Elite Spellbinder, this with Raidane. 2 of these would be still very good in the green-white Collected Company archetype, because that archetype does really thrive on limiting your opponent's choices. Get this with Thalia, and see how your opponent cries when their cards cost a lot more mana to cast. So I think that's why this card will become a historic playable, maybe in the sideboards, maybe in the main deck, but I'm going to say sideboard. A 1/4 is a really, really good blocker in historic. So, Teo, Aegis Adept is a 4 mana 4 loyalty planeswalker, and it gives a creature perpetually power equal to its toughness. So this would be a Walls planeswalker. So I'm not going to say it's playable just yet, and we'll see if there's more Walls support to come. This does conjure a Lumbering Light Shield, what we just saw, onto the battlefield, though. So maybe, there's something there. But what you can do is play this on turn 3 or 4, so you have a Llanowar Elf or a Gilded Goose, or even a Paradise Druid. You play this out of your hand and make a Lumbering Light Shield, and then hit your opponent, one of the opponent's cards in hand, make it perpetually cost 1 more to cast, and then the next turn you +1 on it, and now it's a 4/4. So you got something going there. But I'm not going to say it's quite playable just yet. We have Wingsteed Trainers, a 4 mana 2/3. Enters battlefield or attacks, conjure a Stormfront Pegasus. Now we're gonna look at the conjure cards later on at the end, but Stormfront Pegasus I'm gonna say is not a good card, so this is not good. Bounty of the Deep is 3 mana sorcery. 3 mana sorceries have to be really, really, really good in historic for them to be good, like Deafening Clarion, things like that. So this says if you have no lands in your hand, just seek a random land and a non-land. Otherwise, seek 2 non-lands. So this is a divination, kind of like a fixed divination, to where you can just like get what you want, but there's 1 mana cards that do similar to this, so 3 mana is just way too much. Ethereal Grasp, I'm going to say, is not good. It's just made for limited. Let's look at Ora the Tides Fury. It's a 4 mana 4 loyalty planeswalker. You can +1 to conjure a Kraken Hatchling into your hand. We're going to look at what a Kraken Hatchling is. I believe it's a 1 mana 0/4. But I'm going to go ahead and actually I think we can just look at it, right? Kraken Hatchling. It's 1 mana 0/4. Yes, that's all it is. 1 blue 0/4. We have this tropical island here. We have, and I believe that's all we have for now. Let's go ahead and go back up. Spoilers. All right. Now the +1 gets 1 of those to your hand. You just get 1, which is something that you wouldn't be able to do in Paper Magic. I guess you could have like a Kraken card paper token thing that you have outside the game and you add it to your hand, but this puts the actual card in your hand. I'm not sure how it's going to work actually with the mechanics on Arena, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. +1, the second +1, untap target creature or land, prevent all damage that would be dealt to and dealt by that permanent until your next turn. So this reminds me of getting into the Trials, but this actually untaps the card. So you can untap your own land to use the mana again, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of like the 3 mana Kiora, but this also just makes a hatchling, which means it's probably just already worse. But let's see the -3. The -3 can be used as soon as it enters the battlefield. It says you may sacrifice a Kraken. If you do, create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token. So what you can do with this is, say you play it on turn 3. Maybe you're playing a Simic Ramp deck, or maybe you're just playing a control deck and you play this on turn 4. Turn 4, you +1, get a Kraken. Turn 5, this has to live though. You play the Kraken, and then you -3 on the Kraken, putting your Kiora to 2 loyalty, and then you can sacrifice that Kraken and make an 8/8. So it is a turn 5 8/8, turn 4 probably at the earliest. if you're playing the Mana Dorks. I don't know if this is good, but, I mean, you know, I've been wrong before. I guess you could play a Kraken on turn 3, like an actual Kraken, like Nadir Kraken is a card that you can play in Historic, and it's like, okay, it's like not a, I don't think it's a constructed playable card unless you're like playing it out of the sideboard, the Nadir Kraken, but you can play, in theory, you can play Nadir Kraken on turn 3, and then on turn 4 slam Kiora and minus it, now you have a turn 4 8/8, but, it has no keywords, there's no trample, there's no hexproof, there's no ward. So, we're going to have to see about this card. We're not going to take too much more time on it, but for a Mythic Rare, I think this is a little bit underpowered. We have a Mentor of Evo's Isle, 3 mana, 2/1 flying, doesn't have flash. It gives something in your hand flying. I'm going to say no on that. Shoreline Scout is a 1 mana, 1/1 Merfolk. Now, I think Merfolk actually get a lot of support in this format. Also, we do have this Faceless Agent, too, that gives you a random Merfolk from your deck, which is pretty powerful, especially because you can collect a company into this. It's 3 mana value. Shoreline Scout says, when it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a Merfolk card and land from your hand. If you do, conjure a tropical island card into your hand. As long as another Merfolk or an island entered the battlefield under your control this turn, Shoreline Scout gets +1/+0. So what you can do is, on turn 1, you could play this. You can exile a Merfolk or a land from your hand and get a tropical island. So this does fix your land drops, which is pretty cool. Or on turn 2, you could just play this without playing your land first, and then draw your tropical island from this, and then play tropical island, and then have it get +1/+0. Or, I mean, you wouldn't really want to do that, right? Because, let's see. Wait, it gets +1/+0 permanently. It doesn't say till end of turn, right? Oh, it does say this turn. As long as another Merfolk or island entered under this turn. Okay. So the next turn, you get to play that tropical island, and maybe play a Merfolk, and it would become a 2/1. So a 1 mana 2/1 for 1 that draws a tropical island, I think it was pretty good. Especially because helping you hit your land drops when you really need to play that collected company. It gets a green source and a blue source, and it also counts as an island for a lot of your island synergies with Merfolk. So I actually think this is super playable in Historic Merfolk, and this is going to be played. So this might, along with a couple other Merfolks that we're going to see, might put Merfolk back on the map again as a really strong tier 2 deck, if not bottom tier 1. We have Tome of the Infinite is a 3 mana legendary artifact, 1 and tap it. Conjure a random card from Tome of the Infinite spellbook into your hand. It perpetually gets, you may spend this mana as though it were mana of any color to cast a spell. Now, I'm not quite sure how this works. I'm pretty sure you can get any spell in the game with this, but maybe it's just a pool of cards that it will randomly give you. So I'm going to say this card's not good because of the randomness to it, but it might be insane. I don't know. Boneyard Apparation, I don't think this is good. 5 mana, 3/3. It conjures 3 reassembling skeletons into your graveyard so that you can get the skeletons back out of the graveyard and play them again. So I think it's just way too slow for Historic 5 mana. You should be casting Nissa, who shakes the world at that point. Davriel Soulbroker is a very interesting card in Historic. We have a 2 and 2 black 4 loyalty Planeswalker. It's a +1 until you end of your turn. Whenever an opponent attacks you and or Planeswalkers you control, they discard a card. If they can't, they sacrifice an attacking creature. So, it says whenever an opponent attacks you. So, even if you attack with more than one creature, it still only triggers once, I believe. They discard a card, or they sacrifice an attacking creature. Which is, it's okay. Your opponent can just set up what they want to discard, or they just attack your Davriel, and you lose your Davriel, and they discard a card, whatever. So I think it's kind of whatever. But it does go to 5 loyalty. Maybe it's hard to kill. But in Historic, it's going to be pretty easy to kill. The -2, though, is very, very interesting. Accept one of Davriel's offers, then accept one of Davriel's conditions. Now, that sounds really ambiguous, but we're going to go ahead and look right now at Davriel's offers and conditions, and then you're going to find out, we're going to find out just really how crazy Davriel can get here. Moving on down here. Davriel Soulbroker's offer. There's a whole entire page for Davriel Soulbroker, people. There's an entire page. Davriel Soulbroker's offers. 1. Draw 3 cards. Okay. Now, I do have to tell you something about these offers and conditions. You don't get to choose one out of all of them. It gives you a random 3 of them, and then you choose one out of the three. You don't just get to do your choice of these cards every time, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 offers, and you get offered 3 random ones, so you have a relatively okay chance to get the one you want, but sometimes you just won't. Davriel's offers are draw 3, conjure a Manor Guardian card into your hand. I don't know what Manor Guardian does, but hopefully we find that one out. Return 2 random creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. They perpetually gain +1/+1. Return a random creature card with the highest mana value from 1 cards in your graveyard to the battlefield. That's really good. You get an emblem with creatures you control, get +2/+0, an emblem. You get an emblem with spells you cast I believe this is colorless and black, less to cast. You get an emblem with Davriel Planeswalkers you control have +2 draw a card. Okay. You get an emblem with whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Alright. Davriel Soul Broker's conditions. You lose 6 life. Exile, so you could just die if you're at 6. Exile 2 cards from your hand. If fewer than 2 cards are exiled this way, each opponent draws cards equal to the difference. Or you can sacrifice 2 permanents. Or each creature you don't control perpetually gains +1/+1. You get an emblem with creatures you control get -1/-0, which is very, very good for you if you're not playing creatures. You get an emblem with spells you cast cost 0 and black more to cast. You get an emblem with whenever you draw a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Which I guess is good for you if you're playing a deck that likes to do that. You get an emblem with at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life for each creature you control, which is also really good if you don't play any creatures. So I would say that this Davriel is very, very, very good if you don't have any creatures, because you could technically get the creature from the graveyard, or your creature's control get +2/+0. You could get either one of those if you're not playing creatures, but there's also one more that you get, and none of these other ones deal with creatures, so it's impossible to get 2 offers off of this that all deal with creatures. And if you're not playing creatures and you happen to get these 2 creature ones, you can just pick the other one. And with this one, there's 2 different ones that deal with, that say your creatures get nerfed. So if you're not playing creatures, then you are guaranteed to get a condition. You're not guaranteed to get a condition that deals with creatures, but you do have a pretty good shot out of these 8 conditions to get 1 out of the 3 randomly that deals with creatures, and you just pick that one. So I would say Davriel would be best if you're not playing creatures. So let's go back up. Now you can think what you'd like about Davriel, but I think it's fun and I'll be playing with it. Or you can -3 this to have target creature perpetually get -3/-3. And yes, you'll just choose the best of the 3 offers that it gives you, and the least harmful of the 3 conditions. Exactly. We have Davriel's Withering, which I'll talk about this later, or I can talk about it right now. Davriel's Withering creates an infinite combo in Historic now. You can give a creature perpetually -1/-2, which also happens in the graveyard, and when it enters the battlefield, and that creature will always have -1/-2. Now the problem with this card is that there is a card that I believe can get... there's a card that I believe... I don't think I can see it right now, and I don't remember the name of it. One of them is Submersive Acolyte, where you can... I believe it is. One second. Never mind. It's a different card. It's a different card that gets the ability that when it dies, it comes back with a 1/1 counter. So, you give it -1/-2, it dies, it comes back, and then it dies and comes back infinitely. And then this is an actual infinite combo with cards that say when a creature dies, ping your opponent for 1. Now, there's a couple cards in Historic that do that. And there's also a card in Historic that says when a creature enters the battlefield under your control, your opponent takes a damage. So there's a few different cards that do this, paired with Davriel's Withering, paired with the other card that keeps coming back, and there you go. You have a 3-card infinite combo in Historic that I don't know if they saw this or not when they made this card. But hopefully something doesn't get banned out of this. But it's maybe very powerful. So Devil's Withering is still a pretty good card, giving a creature perpetually -1/-2, but giving your own creature -1/-2 to infinitely combo is, I don't know if I would like that, but it's okay. Let's move on. Manor Guardian, when it dies, each player seeks a non-land card with mana value 3 or 2 or less, and it's a 3-mana 4/3. Just play Bone Crusher Giant. Let's see, we have a Death Touch Rat. I don't think that's playable. Submersive Acolyte is a 2-mana 2/2. You can pay 2 and 2 life to choose one, activate only once. It becomes a Human Cleric, it gets +1/+2 and gains lifelink. It becomes Phyrexian, it gets +3/+3 and gains trample, and whenever this creature is dealt damage, sacrifice that many permanents. So it's the reverse of Phyrexian Obliterator, which makes it pretty bad. Reckless Ringleader is a goblin for a new goblins deck in Historic. Maybe it can be in there. Let's go ahead and read this. It's a haste 1/1. Whenever it enters the battlefield, choose a creature card in your hand. It perpetually gains haste. I guess you can give your Muxus haste. I don't think this is played. Sign of Shiv is a 4-mana 3/3, and it gets +1/+0 perpetually for paying 2 and a red. So it will always keep that +1/+0 as long as you pay that 3. And you can keep paying the 3 over and over again, so it's like permanent fire breathing. Which is, this card's just not as good as Rekindling Phoenix, and Rekindling Phoenix isn't even playable in Historic right now. So I'm going to say this is a no. Sarkhan, Wanderer to Shiv, this is what you would play if you're playing a Dragon deck. So, Dragon Tribal and Historic, please. Sarkhan, Wanderer to Shiv, 4-mana 4 Loyalty Planeswalker, +1. Dragon cards in your hand perpetually gain. This spell costs 1 less to cast. And you may pay X rather than pay the spell's mana cost, where X is its mana value. So it basically means if you have a dragon like Niv Mizzet Reborn, you don't have to play 5 colors if you have Sarkhan on board. You could just pay 5 mana, if I'm reading that correctly. That's pretty good. Okay. And it's not only 5 mana, it's 4 mana because it costs 1 less. Alright, this is really good in Dragon decks. We have a 0 that says conjure a Shivan Dragon card to your hand. So you just get Shivan Dragon. Or in -2, to have it deal 3 damage to any creature. So, if you're making a Dragon deck, this is definitely going to be one of the best cards in your deck. So, all you Dragon lovers, play this card. Sarkhan Scorn, 3-mana instant, deals damage equal to the number of turns you have begun to target creature or planeswalker. Equal to the number of turns you have begun. So on turn 3, if you've begun 3 turns and play this on turn 3, it does 3 damage. On turn 4, it does 4 damage. On turn 5, it does 5 damage, and so on. So, does it say any target? It says a creature or planeswalker, never mind. I was going to say this would be really good in burn, but it doesn't go face. It does do creature or planeswalker, but I believe this is not the best removal spell in the set, because you just wait for new cards here. Manor Guardian Phoenix is a 2-mana 2/2 flyer, and it can't block. Whenever you cast a spell, if Manor Guardian Phoenix is in your graveyard, put a flame counter on Manor Guardian Phoenix for each red pip in that spell's mana cost. If Manor Guardian Phoenix has 5 or more flame counters on it, return to the battlefield and it perpetually gets +1/+1. So how this is going to work is, say you have Manor Guardian Phoenix in your graveyard and you cast a red spell. Let's say Reckless Ringleader, just for sake of simplicity here. You put a flame counter on Manor Guardian Phoenix in your graveyard because it has 1 red pip. You cast Sign of Shiv while this is in the graveyard, it gets 2 flame counters. If it has 5 or more, return to the battlefield and it perpetually gets +1/+1. Now, I don't know if it removes the flame counters. I'm pretty sure it does, because it doesn't say it perpetually gets the counters. It just gets the counters while they're in the graveyard. So I think for every 5 pips, it can come out of the graveyard, and it perpetually gets +1/+1. So the next time it goes to the graveyard, it will come out as a 4/4. And the next time it comes out of the graveyard, it's a 5/5. But it doesn't have haste like our other Phoenixes do, like our usual other Phoenixes do in Historic. So we'll have to see about this card. It is a 2-mana 2/2 though, which isn't even that bad. I don't know if it's better than the Escape Phoenix, but we'll have to see if this one edges out the Escape Phoenix in in the sideboard against control decks. So, Static Discharge is a 2-mana sorcery. It deals X damage to any target, where X is 3 plus the number of charge counters on it. Now, then put a perpetual charge counter on this card, and each card named Static Discharge in your hand, library, and graveyard. This is the card I was talking about that might be better than Sarkhan and Scorn. Now, the first time you use this, it's a sorcery that does 3 damage because X is 0. Now, after you put a perpetual charge counter on it, it keeps the charge counters in your hand, library, and graveyard, and exile, so the next time you draw your second Static Discharge off the top of your library, or however you get another Static Discharge, it will perpetually have that counter. Because it puts the ones in your graveyard, hand, and library, it puts a counter on it. So then it'll do 4 damage because X is 1. Then the next time you cast Static Discharge, it does 5 damage. The next time you cast it, it does 6 damage. Now this card does go to any target, so this is going to be a card in burn decks for sure. Just imagine, you're at 5 life at the end of the game, your opponent top decks a Static Discharge. It's not a lightning strike, so it doesn't do 3, it literally kills you from 5 or 6 out, which is pretty strong. Freyalise, Sky Shroud, Partisan is a 3-mana 4 loyalty Planeswalker, 3-mana Planeswalker. +1, untap up to 1 target elf. Oh no, we have Elf Tribal. And more cards for elves and a Planeswalker that works with elves. So, if you like elves, keep listening. That elf and a random elf creature in your hand perpetually get +1/+1. Wow, you untap an elf and that elf and a random elf in your hand both get +1/+1. That's pretty good. And then you can -1 to draw a random elf from your deck. Okay, so this always draws an elf. Okay, that's pretty good. Especially because out of the post board, the way to kill elves is to sweep them. Now, if you play Freyalise, when you play a sweeper, unless it's a sweeper that also kills Planeswalkers, it's going to be hard to deal with because they're going to keep getting elves. And if your way to deal with the elves is sweepers, they're going to keep adding them to their hand. That's annoying. And then the -6 is conjure a Regal Force onto the battlefield. So Regal Force, if you're not familiar, is a creature card. It's a huge card that says draw a card for each creature you control, I believe. It's going to be right here. When Regal Force enters the battlefield, draw a card for each green creature you control. And it is a 7-mana 5/5. So you just get one on the battlefield, which is pretty nifty. Yes, Roxas Wolf. So you either pay 1 colorless or you pay mana of any color to cast the creature. Yes. Oh, it's either one. You either pay 1 colorless or you pay mana of any color to cast the creature. It says dragons in your hand gain this spell costs 1 less to cast, and you may pay X rather than pay it. It gains both. Interesting. Alright. Moving on to Longtusk Stalker. Now this, I believe, is a fixed Longtusk Cub. It's a 1-mana 1/1 cat. Whenever Longtusk Stalker enters the battlefield or attacks, you get a an energy. Oh, mana value. Okay, you're right. I think that's right, Roxas. Pay 2 energy to have it perpetually get +1/+0. So, like the permanent fire breathing we talked about before with Scion of Shiv. You may choose a creature card in your hand. If you do, that card perpetually gets +1/+0. So, this enters the battlefield. On turn 1, you get an energy. On turn 2, you attack with this. You get an energy. And then you can pay that energy, even if your opponent has a 1/1 that will block this. You can pay the energy in combat to have it get +1/+0 perpetually. And then you can choose a creature in your hand, and then that also perpetually gets +1/+0. So, this is a pretty cool card. If they don't block it in combat on that second turn, this will be able to do this ability every other turn unless you're playing an energy deck. If you're playing an energy deck, this card can go wild. But I think this is definitely better than Longtusk Cub. If you wanted to play a card like this, maybe like a Jund deck, like those Jund mid-range decks that play a lot of value cards, maybe you play Davriel in here and things like that. Maybe it has a lot of removal and like a couple threats. Longtusk Stalker, if that's your threat, then this can kind of get out of control if you're playing a deck like that. Maybe you play like the 2-mana black creature that draws cards. Things like this. Pool of Vigorous Growth. Discard a card. Make a token that's a copy of a random creature with mana value X. Activate only as a sorcery. Now, I think this is just actually a random creature, and it gets you whatever creature with mana value X. So you could get like you could pay 5 mana and tap this and get like a 1/1 if it has a really good enter the battlefield ability. I don't know one off the top of my head, but you could get one that's like, you know, either really good or just terrible for your situation. So I would say this is a really fun card. I don't know if it's playable. I don't know if it's like a really good card. This is a fight spell that draws a card. I think this is worse than the other fight spells we have. This chooses a creature in your hand and perpetually gets +2/+2. It could be okay, but I don't think it's good. Scratch Card Lookout is a 2-mana 1/1 elf that has reach, and when it enters the battlefield, seek an elf card. So honestly, I think this is better than that other elf that they're playing right now in Historic that just draws a card. I think it's called it's not called it's called Elvish Visionary, right? I think this might just be better than Elvish Visionary, unless you want to play Elvish Visionary to try to draw cards into like more land drops or try to draw Collected Company. But this one specifically just adds an elf, which is pretty good, especially like if you have maybe a little bit too many lands and you don't want to draw more lands. This actually gets you an elf from your deck to the hand, which I think is playable. Okay, those are all those cards that are new to Arena. Let's go to the Modern Horizon 1 cards that are going to be added to Arena from Modern Horizon 1. So you might be familiar with some of these cards if you're familiar with Modern Horizons 1. Battle Screech creates 2/1/1 for a sorcery with flashback, tapping 3 untapped white creatures. Now, this might be played, but it is 4 mana, so I'm going to say no, but I could be wrong. Now, this is the first one that we see here. We're getting slivers to Historic. This is one of the archetypes that I said was going to be good with Faceless Agent, because it counts as a sliver. Enduring Sliver gives Outlast 2. I don't know what Outlast means. Pay 2 and tap it, put a 1/1 counter on this creature, Outlast only as a sorcery. Okay. So it's a 2-mana 2/2 that can make your other slivers have the ability to buff itself. Now, first Sliver Chosen is a 5-mana 3/3, and they have Exalted. Exalted's coming to Arena. Gilded Light. You gain Shroud. With cycling. Interesting. You gain Shroud. I have not seen this card as an instant, but there is Teferi's Protection in the format, so I think Teferi's Protection is better than this card, but this also has cycling. Might go on a cycling deck. Imposter the Sixth Pride is a 2-mana 3/1 Changeling. So this does count as a slipper. Slipper. That was a Freudian slip. No pun intended. But this is a sliver. This is an elf. I don't know if you're going to play this. It's just a 3/1. But it's a Changeling if you need that. Irregular Cohort is a 4-mana 2/2 Changeling. When it enters the battlefield, make a 2/2 Shapeshifter with Changeling. So this also goes in your tribal decks if you'd like to play, if you're playing a white-based tribal deck. King of the Pride, we have Cat Tribal, chat. Cat Tribal. King of the Pride is 3-mana 2/1. Other cats get +2/+1. Now, +2/+1 is huge. Every cat becomes a lion. It is upgrade every cat into a lion. It's like Pokemon. Every cat just evolves. That's pretty good if you're playing cats. And a regular cohort, and Imposter of the Sixth Pride, and all the other changelings. Lancer Sliver is a 3-mana 2/2. Slivers have first strike. Ranger Captain Vios, this is going to be a powerhouse in Historic. We have a 1 and 2 white 3/3. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 1 or less, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. Sacrifice it, and your opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. So what happens here is you get this off a Collected Company, or maybe you play this in your humans deck, and then you get another human to your hand. And then on your opponent's turn, you don't want to get swept, and then you just sacrifice this card in their upkeep, and now, voila, you can't get swept. And then you kill your opponent. That's how this card's going to work. And this card's very good. It also searches, Death Shadow, which is going to be played, I believe. So this card enters the battlefield, search Death Shadow, and it's going to be great. Reprobation is a 2-mana aura. Will this be played in auras? I don't know. It loses all abilities and is a coward creature with base power and toughness 0/1. This might be played over the card that they're currently playing. They're currently playing a card that is a 2-mana aura that makes your opponent have to tap it 3 times in order to attack or block with it again. Now, and it also loses all abilities. So, with this card, it becomes an 0-1, but it can still block. So, I'm not sure if this is better than the one we already have. Sagovian Angel is a 1-mana 1-1 Flying Vigilance. I don't know if it's going to be played, but it is a 1-mana Angel, which we don't have currently in Historic. So, maybe this is played in the Angels deck. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this was played in Angels. It gives the Angels deck a 1-mana Angel, which is pretty good. Shelter. The target creature gains protection for a color of your choice on end of turn draw card. That is probably worse than the 1-mana card we have that does the same thing, but it doesn't draw. So we'll see if that sees play. Wall of 1,000 Cuts is a 5-mana 3/5 defender flying. Wall of 1,000 Cuts can attack this turn as though it didn't have defender. Yeah, I don't think this card's good. Sarah the Benevolent is a 4-mana 4 loyalty planeswalker. We see a lot of 4-mana 4 loyalty planeswalkers in this set. This art is beautiful though. +2, creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 until end of turn. So maybe you play this as a top end in your Flyers deck. -3, make a 4/4 with Flying and Vigilance. So this is also very good. Just -3, make a 4/4 Flying and Vigilance Angel. AKA Sarah Angel. Alright, go figure. And it's a -6, which you can do the turn after it enters the battlefield, because you can go enter the battlefield, +2, next turn -6. You get an emblem with, if you control a creature, damage that will be reduced to your life total to less than 1, reduced to 1 instead. So this is very good against damage combo decks. I don't know. Oh. Wait. That combo deck we were talking about that kills your opponent with the Davriel's Withering, it doesn't work if you have Sarah the Benevolent on the board with a creature on board. So maybe we'll see this in the sideboard. Maybe some Gideon to the Trials against decks like that. Stirring Address. This is overload 6 for each creature. So this is a mini combat trick, but it also just becomes an overrun if you overload it. I don't think this is good. Vesperlark. I believe this is actually the card that works with Davriel's Withering. 2 and a white for a 2/1 flying. When it leaves the battlefield, return a creature with power 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, because this perpetually gets -1/-2, this will always die, and it can get itself back. Evoke for 2. So what happens is you have Vesperlark, and then you Davriel's Withering your Vesperlark. Vesperlark dies, and then it just comes back because this ability is not optional, it's mandatory. So it just comes back, and it dies again, and comes back, and dies again, and comes back. So if you don't have any other creature in your graveyard with power 1 or less, you have to return the Vesperlark back. So this is actually an unbreakable infinite. It might actually break the game. I don't know. I don't even know how you can't stop this from happening either. Wait, how does this even work? Does anyone in chat know how this works? If you Davriel's Withering this and it comes back infinitely, it literally cannot stop coming back. Leaves the battlefield, return a creature with power 1 or less from graveyard to the battlefield. It leaves, it comes back. It has to die because it perpetually has -2. Perpetually has -1, -2. So this is always a 1/0. And then it comes back and it dies. I'm not even sure if you can even stop this. And it might break the game. I don't know. But this is the combo with the other card. Like maybe a there's a 2-mana black card that's a 0/1, and it says whenever a creature dies, you gain a life and your opponent loses a life. Yeah, you need at least one of the... Wait, do you? No, I think it's just itself. Because when Vesperlark leaves the battlefield, return target creature card with power 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It will be in the graveyard. When this dies, it will be in the graveyard. Right? And then you can just target itself. Interesting. Yeah, it's an endless loop if you don't have another creature, yes. I'm wondering, like, how Arena's gonna, like, stop that from happening, or if it'll only let you do it a certain amount of times before it just stops you. Zalfrin Decoy is a 2-mana 1/3, tap a creature. Activate this ability only if you had a creature enter the battlefield under your control this turn. This might be played in humans, maybe in the sideboard against other aggro decks, but we'll see. Archmage's Charm, that's a huge one. Is a 3-mana, 3 blue instant. Choose one. Counter target spell. Target player draws 2 cards, or gain control of target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 1 or less. This will be played in every single blue control deck in Historic. That's just how it's going to be. And it's going to be very, very, very good in mono blue tempo. Now, counter a spell, or you can just draw 2, or you just take a huge shark token. Shark Typhoon is very relevant in Historic, and it has a mana value of 0, so you can just take that. Your opponent makes a huge shark, you have Archmage Charm. They attack you with a shark, they pass turn. Then you just take the shark on their end step, and you attack them with their shark. And if they don't have another shark, that could be a huge tempo swing. Bizarre Trade Mage, 3-mana 3/4, which is pretty good stats, flying. When it enters the battlefield, draw 2, then discard 3 cards. Whoa! Now, this is going to be pretty good in Hollow 1, because it's not 3 random cards. You play this on turn 3, you draw 2 cards, you discard 3 cards, and then you just play Hollow 1. That's how that works, right? I'd be willing to bet that this card's played in Hollow 1. Choking Tethers. 4-mana tap up to 4 creatures with cycling. Whenever you cycle it, you can tap a creature. I don't think this is good, but it's very nifty. I like the ability, but I don't think it's good. Kite. 2-mana 1/2, flying. It gets +2/+0 as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. It's nifty, but it's not better than other cards we have that do almost the same thing. Fairy Seer, 1-mana 1/1. When it's battlefield, scry 2. Now, it is a fairy, it is a wizard. Most importantly, it is a wizard. So it makes wizard tribal better. It makes, not wizard tribal. So I'm not talking about like a wizard prowess deck. Although you could possibly play it in that too. But you could play a wizard tempo deck and play this on turn 1, scry 2. It is a 1/1 wizard. Strap on some things to this that say it draws a card when it deals damage. And then you can play your Wizard's Retort and things like that. Maybe Wizard's Lightning if you're playing red. To play a Izzet tempo deck with this card. So I think this card does see play. Mana War is a very famous 2 and a white, or 2 and a blue for a 2/2. Whenever it enters the battlefield, return target creature to his hand. Yeah, you can target your own creatures, you can target your opponent's creatures. It's a pretty nifty card. Also pretty good with Blink synergies. Mist Syndicate Naga is a 3-mana 3/1. It has Ninjutsu. Return an unblocked creature you control to the hand and put this onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of Mist Syndicate Naga. So maybe something that's also played in some kind of mono blue tempo deck. Moonblade Shinobi is a 4-mana 3/2 with Ninjutsu again for 3 mana. Whenever Moonblade Shinobi deals combat damage, create a 1/1 blue illusion creature token with flying. Maybe you could just play it in a Ninjutsu deck. Any ninjas in chat? Any ninjas on YouTube? Anerophage is a 4-mana 1/2. Wow, that's really bad stats. Flying, whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on Anerophage. Yeah, this could get out of hand, but I don't see that happening. Phantasmal Form. 3-mana instant until end of turn. Up to 2 target creatures each have base power and toughness 3/3, gain flying, and become blue illusions in addition to the other cards, colors, and types. And you just draw a card. I don't think this is playable in Historic. Phantom Ninja is a 3-mana 2/2. Phantom Ninja can't be blocked. So this is one of your unblockable type creatures. We already have a 2-mana card that gains unblockable, so I don't think this card is good. Unless you're playing Ninja Tribal. Pondering Mage is a 5-mana 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. You may shuffle your library, and then you draw a card. Okay, so this is like a better Ponder on a 5-mana creature, which is pretty bad. You want your 5-mana cards in Historic to win you the game. This doesn't do that. Scour all possibilities. 2-mana sorcery, scry 2, draw a card with flashback for 5. Scry 2, draw a card is really good if it was an instant. So I'm going to say this card is not playable. Scuttling Sliver is a 3-mana 2/2, and it makes slivers have pay 2 untap it. It's played in slivers. Windcaller Aven is a 6-mana 4/3, flying with cycling 1. When you cycle it, target creature gains flying till end of turn. I don't think this card's good. Azra Smoke Shaper, and by that I mean it's 6 mana. Like, come on now. This is historic here. Azra Smoke Shaper is a 4-mana 3/3 with ninjutsu, so, congratulations to you ninja players. When it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gains indestructible till end of turn. This is good when you're attacking in and your opponent blocks. You have to you bring an unblocked creature specifically. So they do a couple good blocks. You return an unblocked creature to hand, play this, give the creature that they're blocking indestructible. That's okay. Changeling Outcast is a 1-mana 1/1 changeling, and it can't block and can't be blocked. Wow. So this is a 1-mana changeling, which is like pretty good in your basically any tribal deck. You're playing vampires, you're playing freaking wizards, you're playing slivers. It's 1 mana of any of those if black is the color that you're playing. So if you're short on 1-drops in your aggressively slanted tribal deck, you're definitely playing this if you're playing black mana. Cordial Vampire is a 2-mana 1/1. Whenever it or another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on each vampire you control. Now, this could actually just be abused. I mean, it is a 1/1 for 2 black. But whenever it or another creature dies, period, even your opponent's creature, put a 1/1 counter on each vampire, which could definitely get out of hand. I don't know if this is playable as a 2-mana 1/1, but its ability is very, very good. So we'll see about this card. Dreadscape Sliver. So another sliver. We have each sliver in your graveyard has Unearth 2. Unearth, if you're unfamiliar, you can pay 2 to return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile at the beginning of the next end step, or if it would leave the battlefield. So it gives your slivers a little bit of recursion. Endling is a 4-mana 3/3, and you can have a few different effects. So this is like a Planeswalker style card. You can pay a black to have it gain Menace. You can play a black to have it gain Death Touch. You can pay a black to have it gain Undying, which is when it dies, if it had no +1/+1 counters, return it to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. And you can pay 1 colorless mana to have it get +1/-1 or -1/+1 till end of turn, and you can do that as many times as you want. So I would say this card would be good, but it's a 4-mana card, so we're going to have to see. You can pay 1 twice to have it become a 5/1. So maybe it's playable in that case. Maybe it is a shapeshifter, but it doesn't have changeling. So maybe if you play shapeshifter tribal. The fact that this doesn't have changeling is a little weird because it's a shapeshifter, but I don't think this is playable. First Sphere Gargantua is a 6-mana 5/4. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose a life with Unearth for 3. So maybe this comes in some kind of reanimator deck where you can reanimate this and unearth it back. But I don't think this card's playable unless someone finds a way to break it. Graveshifter is a 4-mana 2/2. It has changeling. Whenever Graveshifter enters the battlefield, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I don't think this is good because maybe your Shapeshifter deck wants to play Collected Company. This also can't be Collected Company into because it is 4 mana, and there's a lot better better cards in Historic than a 4-mana 2/2. Mind Rake is a 3-mana sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards, so it is a Mind Rot with Overload with Overload for 2. You may cast this spell for its Overload cost if you do change its text by replacing all instances of target with each. So you can Mind Rake this card, paying 1 less than 3, so you just pay 1 in a black to have both players discard 2 cards. So if you're playing a Madness deck, or if you're playing Hollow One, this card's probably really good. It's funny, and I like the design, but, like, I mean, any Hollow One players? You play, like, blue-black Hollow One, and you play, where's that card that we saw? Bizarre Trade Mage and Mind Rake, and you just play Hollow One out of your hand for free. Pretty interesting. I believe you can actually do this on turn 4, right? This is just turn 4 Hollow One. It's not that good, but you just Mind Rake, make them discard 2 cards, make yourself discard 2 cards, and then just play Hollow One as a 4/4. That's probably not good, but it's fun. Mob is a 5-mana instant, Convoke. Your creatures can help cast a spell. Each creature you tap while casting a spell pays for 1 or 1 mana of that creature's color. Destroy target creature. If you're playing Go Wide deck, this card might cost like 1 mana or 2. But I think there's better cards than this. So I'm going to say, skip it. Nether Spirit is a 3 mana 2/2. It is a spirit. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Nether Spirit is the only creature card in your graveyard, you may return Nether Spirit to the battlefield. This is very interesting. This could be played in control decks, actually. That's my first thought. Like, you play no creatures outside of Nether Spirit, and you just play it, and it just keeps coming back. Interesting. It's also a spirit, so spirit tribal, maybe. Putrid Goblin is a 2 mana 2/2 with Persist. Whenever it dies, if it had no -1/-1 counters on it, return to the battlefield under its control with a -1/-1 counter on it. And that's it. It is a zombie. It is a goblin. Ransack the Lab, 2 mana sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Now, this could be really good in Delirium strategies. And we'll see there is Delirium cards in this set. Now, it's also good if you're looking to fill your graveyard up for like a Reanimator strategy. This would be pretty good in Reanimator, I would say. Look at the top 3, put one of them into your hand and the rest into your grave. Pretty good in Reanimator. But maybe, just maybe, the 1 mana 1/1 that mills 3 when it dies and it's a battlefield might just be better. But this does get you a card. So this might actually see play. Sling Gang Lieutenant is a card that could be played in Goblins. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens, sacrifice a goblin, target player loses a life, and you gain a life. So a very powerful effect. It is a 4 mana 1/1 though. But getting this off of Muxus is really, really good. Especially with a Krenko, and, you know, the list goes on and on. Throat Seeker is a 3 mana 3/2. Unblocked attacking ninjas you control have lifelink. So yes, Ninja Tribal. Here we go. Undead Augur is a 2 mana 2/2. Whenever Undead Augur or another zombie you control dies, you draw a card and lose a life. Okay. Interesting. So this is a Midnight Reaper for tribal zombies. Or Wizard Tribal. This card might actually be good. Because, wait, is Midnight Reaper also a zombie? I don't know if Midnight Reaper is a zombie, but if it's not, then this card's pretty good if you're playing tribal zombies. Venomous Changeling is a 3 mana 1/3 with Changeling and Death Touch. So this also goes in all of your black, maybe ninjas or zombies or goblins. Maybe even spirits if you're playing Nether Spirit. Ward Eye Witch. Whenever Ward Eye Witch or another creature you control dies, scry 1. Not better than Midnight Reaper, so not good. Yawgmoth Thran Physician I think is going to be really, really good. Is a human cleric, has protection from humans. You can pay a life, sacrifice another creature, put a -1/-1 counter on up to one target creature and draw a card. So, notably, you don't have to put a -1/-1 counter on a creature to draw the card. Or maybe you do. It says up to one target creature and draw a card. So I would say you don't have to put a -1/-1 counter on a creature to draw a card. You could just pay a life, sacrifice a creature to draw a card. But it also does just kill your opponent's creatures too. Because you can put a -1/-1 counters on your opponent's creature and draw a card, which is very good, especially if you're playing a deck that thrives off of sacrificing cards. You can also pay 2 mana and discard a card to proliferate. So you can just put a 1/1 counter on all your opponent's little elves, and then you can pay 2 mana, proliferate all the 1/1 counters, and there you go. Wipe their board. So I would say this is a very good value deck top end, maybe in one of your Jund mid-range decks. Blade Back Sliver is a 2 mana 2/2. It has Hellbent. As long as you have no cards in your hand, slivers have tap. This creature deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. But it depends on if you're playing red in your slivers deck, which you probably are. Boggart Dragonheart is a 3 mana 2/2. Sacrifice another creature until the end of turn. It becomes a 4/4. With flying and haste. So turn 1 and 2, you play your cat, your Cauldron Familiar, and your Witch's Oven. And then turn 3, you sacrifice your Cauldron Familiar, and then you play Boggart Dragonheart, and then you sacrifice your Cauldron Familiar, and then you just hit them for 4. Interesting. I would this card might be playable. I don't think so. I mean, Bone Crusher Giant's in the format. It's a 2/2. I don't know. But you can sacrifice a creature in response to Bone Crusher and make this a 4/4. Alright, very interesting. Cleaving Sliver. Slivers you control get +2/+0. This is probably one of the best slivers you can play. 4-mana sliver, though. Fist of Flame, 2 mana, draw a card. Until end of turn, target creature gets trampled and gets +1/+0 plus each card you've drawn this turn. I don't know. This seems very niche. Geo Managers Gambit is a 3-mana sorcery. Destroy a land. Its controller may search their library for a basic land, put it in the battlefield, then shuffle their library, and draw a card. I don't think this is good. If they didn't get a land off of it, it would be insane. But they get a land off of it. Maybe you can get some Niv Mizzet Reborn players not playing basics and get them on this. Goblin Engineer is a 2-mana 1/2. When Goblin Engineer enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an artifact card, put it in your graveyard, then shuffle your library. I think this is very, 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 very good in the Emry Paradox Engine decks, because this basically searches Paradox Engine if you already have Emry. You can pay a red and tap it, sacrifice an artifact, return target artifact card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if you don't have Emry, you can just send an artifact with mana value 3 or less and just get it back with Goblin Engineer on turn 3. And then you can just sacrifice your Mox Amber or whatever you have. That's pretty good. Yeah, this is very good. Yeah, yikes. I do not want to play against this card. But it's very good. Very, very, very good. Goblin Aura Flame is a 2-mana enchantment. Attacking creatures get +1/+0. Yeah, card is busted, Gavin. I wonder if this can see played in Legacy Vintage. It probably does, and it also already gets played in Commander already. Goblin Aura Flame, attacking creatures get +1/+0. I don't think that's very good. Unless you're playing a super go-wide deck. Hollowhead Sliver is a 3-mana sliver. It's a 2/2. It has discard a card, draw a card. Okay. All slivers are kind of okay because they all give each other abilities anyway. So it's like, every sliver is every sliver anyway. So it's almost like not even relevant to read the effects. But it is relevant. Goat Nap is a 3-mana sorcery. Gain control of a creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste. And if it's a ghost... Why did I say ghost? Goats are ghosts, chat. You heard it here first. Ethereal goats. It also gets +3/+0 till end of turn. So if your opponent plays a Woe Strider, makes a goat, and then you goat nap the goat, and then they don't sacrifice it, it becomes a 4/1 goat. Wait, no, it becomes a 3/1 goat. Interesting. That's never going to happen. Imagine actually stealing a goat with this. A truly broken combo. I think I feel outplayed already. Igneous Elemental is a 6-mana 4/3 elemental. It costs 2 less to cast if there's a land in your graveyard. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may have it deal 2 damage to target creature. Whoa. Wait, hello? Fabled Passage. Play Igneous Elemental for a 2-mana 4/3. Kill a creature? Oh no, it's 4 mana. No, it's a lot worse than I thought. No. Just when I thought this was good. Dang it. Why? Just when I thought this card was good. It's not good. Moving on. Pashalik Mons is a 3-mana 2/2. Whenever it or another goblin you control dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. Wow, this plays around sleepers in goblins. Pay 4 mana, sacrifice a goblin, make 2 1/1s. So it's a really slow Krenko. And it says that when you board wipe, they still kill your opponent. I don't want to play against goblins now. I mean, I didn't really always want to play against goblins, but now I really don't. Spinehorn Minotaur is a 3-mana 2/3. As long as you draw 2 or more cards this turn, it gets double strike. Not good. Or Scale Guardian is a 7-mana 4/4. This spell costs 1 less for each land in your graveyard, flying in haste. This is only really good if it's 3 mana, and that's if you have 4 lands in grave, and that's pretty impossible, unless you're playing Scapeshift. I mean, if you're playing Scapeshift, this is like a 2 mana 4/4 Flying Haste, but just play Glorybringer, chat. Reckless Charge is a 1 mana sorcery. Target creature gets +3/+0 and haste with flashback for 3. I would say this card only sees play in like combo decks. We're getting Seasoned Pyromancer. It is a 3 mana for 2 red pips. It is a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, discard 2, then draw 2 cards. So Madness and Hollow One. For each non-land card discarded this way, create a 1/1 red elemental creature token. So, yeah. Discard 2 non-lands, make 2 1/1s. It's very good at blocking. It's very good at attacking. Pay 5 mana, exile Seasoned Pyromancer from your graveyard, create 2 1/1s. This is like an insane card. It is already insane in Modern. This card is insane, going to be insane also in Historic. Especially in Reanimator strategies that want to get your fatties out of your hand and put them in the graveyard. In Madness strategies, by gaining effects if they're discarded. Man. In Hollow One, by discarding 2 cards and playing Hollow One for 2 mana, or finding a way to discard 1 more card and pay Hollow One for free. It makes chump blockers. Really good in Blink decks also. You can blink this card over and over again. Say you're playing Yorion, blink this, do it again. Also has Recursion, having that 5 mana exile it from the graveyard, create 2 1/1 elemental tokens from your graveyard. This card is everything that you've ever wanted. If you're playing that kind of deck. I'm definitely going to be playing some kind of mid-range deck. In Historic for sure. With cards like this. Spiteful Sliver is a 3 mana 2/2. Slivers have whenever it is dealt damage, deals that much damage to target player or planeswalker. Oh gosh, this card's good in Slivers. This card's probably a sideboard card. Mono red Yorion on the menu. Throes of Chaos is a 4 mana sorcery with Cascade. Hello? Does Cascade for Valky? Interesting. With Retrace, you may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a land in addition to paying its other costs. Interesting. Ayula, we're getting Bear Tribal, chat. Bear Tribal's on the menu. Whenever another bear enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Put 2 1/1 counters on a target bear. Or a target bear you control fights a target creature you don't control. Yes. Yes. You can't Cascade for Valky, that was a joke. You used to be able to. Excavating Anurid is a 5 mana 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a land if you do draw a card. It has Threshold. As long as 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, excavating gets +1/+0 in Vigilance. So yeah, just play Elder Gargaroth. Yeah, this Sliver plus Starve Extinction, just dome your opponent for infinite. That's funny. Leave it to Strider Stone to do that. Everyone go sub to Strider Stone on YouTube if you haven't already. Strider Stone. And follow him on Twitch if you haven't already. You get to see crazy combos like that. Llanowar Tribe is a 3 mana 3/3 elf that adds 3 mana. I forgot to use the Kappa emote. Cries in 0 wildcards, right? Llanowar Tribe, I don't know if this is played in elves, but it is a pretty darn good elf. Mother Bear is a 2 mana 2/2. You can pay 5 mana to exile it from your graveyard to make 2 2/2 green bear creature tokens. Activate only anytime you can cast a sorcery. Cool. Ayula plus Mother Bear. Nice. Marasa Behemoth is a 6 mana 5/5 with trample. Gets +3/+3 as long as there is a land in your graveyard. Just play Elder Gargaroth. A Nantuku Cultivator is a 4 mana 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard a number of land cards, put that many 1/1 counters on Nantuku Cultivator, and draw that many cards. Just play Elder Gargaroth. Savage Swipe is a 1 mana sorcery. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If its power is 2, then it fights target creature you don't control. Now this is really, really, really good in Bear Tribal, but if you're not playing exactly Bear Tribal, you should probably be playing Primal Might or whatever. Scale Up is a 1 mana sorcery. Until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a green worm with base power and toughness 6/4. Now this is very, very good if you're playing cards that are unblockable. Say you're playing Merfolk, Scale Up might be a really, really good card if you're playing the unblockable Merfolk. It's also I'm super glad that we don't have Infect in this format, because Scale Up is a really, really powerful card in Infect decks in Modern. So, hooray for not having Infect. But this card is actually very, very good in that Death Touch tribal deck that gives your opponent poison counters for damage dealt with Death Touch creatures. So that deck could actually be a thing because of Scale Up. Has Overload for 6, but that's probably never happening. Spring Bloom Druid is a 3-mana 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a land. If you do, search your library for up to 2 basic lands. Put them in the battlefield tapped, then search your library. It is a Harrow as a 1/1. Really, really good in Commander. I don't think it'll be good in Historic unless there's some kind of deck that requires you to have lands in graveyard, but we've already read the cards that require lands in graveyard, and you might as well be playing Elder Gargaroth if you're going to do that. Tempered Sliver is a sliver that gives you a, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it. Oh, this is probably really good in slivers. That can get out of hand. I'm scared. Trumpeting Herd is a 4-mana sorcery, make a 3/3, and it also has Rebound. If you cast it from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost. The only way I see this card seeing a lot of play is if you're playing like a tokens deck, maybe. But even at 4 mana, this card doesn't seem very good, especially for Historic, so I'm going to say not playable. Twin Silk Spider is a 3-mana 1/2 with Reach. It enters the battlefield, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with Reach. So it's a 3-mana 1/2 that makes a 1/2. Maybe it sees sideboard play against if a super really powerful flying deck becomes popular, but other than that, no play. Webweaver Changeling is a 5-mana 3/5 Changeling. Reach. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if there are 3 or more creatures in your graveyard, you gain 5 life. I don't think the 5 life matters here. If you're playing an aggro deck, it is a shapeshifter, but it's 5 mana, so I'm going to say this is not playable. Winding Way is a 2-mana sorcery, choose a creature or land, reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put all cards of the chosen type revealed this way into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. Now, this could be actually really good in Delirium decks. If you're playing Delirium and you're playing Winding Way, you can go ahead and trigger your Delirium cards faster and get a creature or land to your hand. Now, there is a 1-mana card that does almost the same thing, but it reveals the top 3 and it doesn't put cards in your graveyard. So if you care about your graveyard, this card is a lot better for you. I think this card will actually see play if you care about Delirium. I will be playing a Jund Delirium deck. You just wait until we see the red cards. Cloud Shredder Sliver is one of the best slivers as well. All slivers you control flying and haste, and you just wait until you just die to Cloud Shredder Sliver, and you're going to wish this card was never printed. But, we'll see. Etchlings of the Chosen is a Orzhov 3-mana enchantment. As Etchings of the Chosen enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control the chosen type get +1/+1, so maybe some black-white humans. 1, sacrifice a creature of the chosen type. Target creature you control gains indestructible till end of turn. So we might see play in humans, might see play in maybe like a black-white vampires deck, maybe a black-white zombies deck, something like this. Hear me out. 5-color Niv-Mizzet Slivers. Only in Twitch chat will you ever hear a comment like that. Does someone know if we can play ban cards against Sparky? I think you can, MTG Master. The first sliver, so, 5-color slivers, here we go. 5 mana, 7/7. It has Cascade. If you're unfamiliar with this mechanic, it is one of the most broken mechanics in Magic the Gathering history. Whenever you cast a spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put the exiled cards on the bottom of your library in a random order, so you get first sliver, you just cascade into Cloud Shredder Sliver and hit them for a lot of damage. Yikes. And it also says, sliver spells you cast have cascade. This is a double yikes. If there is a first sliver on the battlefield, and it is not removed from the battlefield immediately, you're going to die. That is a statement that is not up for debate. You will die. When the first sliver enters the battlefield, you kill the card. It is that simple. It's dead. Just kill it. It's fine. If it's not killed, you're dead. Good Fortune Unicorn is a Selesnya 3-mana 2/2. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. I don't think this is good, unless you're playing, major +1/+1 synergies, and you could be, but we haven't got that far yet. You just wait. Ingenious Infiltrator is a 4-mana 2/3 with Ninjutsu. This is like the 3rd or 4th Ninjutsu card that we've seen. Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So this is going to be insane in Ninja Tribal that we were talking about before. We also have a lot of changelings in this set, so you can build ninjas if you want to build ninjas, and Ingenious Infiltrator will be one of the best cards in your deck. Lava Belly Sliver is another Sliver. It's 3 mana. It's a 2/2. Slivers have when this creature enters the battlefield, deals damage to a target player or planeswalker, and you gain a life. Well, can you please stop printing Slivers, please? I'm getting actually more and more scared as time goes on. Can you stop printing Slivers? Munitions Expert is a 2 mana 1/1 with Flash. When it enters the battlefield, you may have it deal damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the number of goblins you control. So black-red goblins, can you read me? Reap the Past is X and Gruel. Sorcery. Return X cards at random from your graveyard to your hand. Exile it. At random? So I guess you just cast this for a lot and get all the cards back? But if you're doing this, isn't there also a mono green card that does the same thing but better? That also gains you life? So I'm going to say this card's not playable. Oh wait, the green card only says permanents, doesn't it? This is cards? I don't know. Maybe there's like a really dirtily teamer deck that this card's insane in. Rot Widow Pack is a 4 mana 2/4 with Reach. Pay 5, exile a creature from your graveyard. Create a 1/2 green spider token with Reach, then each opponent loses life for each spider you control. That is too much mana. This card's not playable. Ruination Rioter is a 2 mana 2/2. Oh my gosh, it's Gruel. Wait, but it's not legendary, so it doesn't work with the Gruel class card. When it dies, you may have it deal damage to any target equal to the number of lands in your graveyard. I don't think this is better than any other of the Gruel 2 mana 2/2, so I don't think this sees play. Soul Herder is a 3 mana 1/1. Whenever a creature is exiled from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Soul Herder. That includes your opponent's cards. So you can play Soul Herder, and then you can play like Skyclave Apparition, exile their creature, put a 1/1 counter on Soul Herder. You can blink this. Alright. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile another, or not blink this, but blink the other thing. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile another target creature you control, then return that card on the battlefield under its own control. Oh, so this card blinks things. Blink also is the blinker. Oh, it works with blinks and it's also the blinker. Okay, this card's good. So you play Soul Herder on turn 3, and then on turn 4 you just play Skyclave Apparition, and then you exile their thing, put a 1/1 counter on it, and then at the end step you blink your apparition again, and then you put another 1/1 counter on this, and then exile their other thing. Yeah, I think this card sees play in some kind of really fun blink deck. I don't know if it's good though, but it's definitely fun. Play Yorion in this as well. There's also a 4 mana enchantment that blinks your things on end step. There's also, Thassa Deep Dwelling, I think it's called, to blink your stuff. Oh yeah. Blink Tribal. Thundering Djinn is a 5 mana Djinn. It's a 3/4 with flying. Whenever it attacks, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn. Could this be played as a top end in, is it tempo decks? Probably not. It's probably a 1 or 2 mana too expensive. If this was a 3 or 4 mana card that was like a 3/3 or a 2/3 or a 3/2, then I think it'd be a lot better. But it being 5 mana is just like a lot. Amorphous Axe is a 2 mana equipment, and equipped creature gets +3/+0 and is every creature type. Ooh, +3/+0 in every creature type. Interesting, but its equip is 3, so I'm going to say it's not playable. Birthing Boughs is a 3 mana artifact. You can pay 4 and tap it to make a 2/2 colorless shapeshifter with Changeling. I think this is too much mana, so it's unplayable. Unless you're really desperate for something that has Changeling. Universal Automaton is a 1 mana 1/1 with Changeling. Okay, now you're not desperate anymore. You have this. I was going to say that you could play that the black 1 mana 1/1 with Changeling, but if you're not playing black, you could play that. But never mind, we have Universal Automaton now. Now every single creature type has a Changeling for 1. Are we playing a Yorion Soul Herder Blink? I can play a Yorion Soul Herder Blink if it's a deck submission for me. I don't think I'll be building it right off the bat, though. Modern Horizons 2 cards. So moving on to this one. Abiding Grace is an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose 1, you gain a life, or return a creature with mana value 1 from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is probably really niche, but in the right deck, this could be really good. Missing 6 rare still? I'm pretty sure we are, yeah. But I don't know if they're going to be like spoiled the day of or something, but I've been waiting for the spoiler and it hasn't come out yet. But I'm not sure. Maybe I think we do have all the cards. Arcbound Mouser is a 1-mana 0/0 with lifelink. It has modular 1. When it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it, when it dies, you may put its 1/1 counters on target artifact creature. Now, modular is a really a interesting thing that is in Historic now, especially because there's a lot of artifact creatures that I'm pretty sure there's a good artifact creature deck that's going to be played for sure. Yeah, I don't think we're missing anything. We have Arcbound Prototype, which is a 2-mana 0/0 with modular 2, so 2 +1/+1 counters on it. And then when it dies, you get to move those counters over to a artifact creature. We have Barbed Spike, which is an equipment. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless stop to artifact creature token with flying, then attach it. So it's like a living weapon, quote unquote. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, so it actually is a 2/1 Thopter with equip 2. Okay, so this is a 2-mana 2/1 Thopter that when the Thopter dies, you just get the Barbed Spike back. That's okay. Disciple of the Sun is a 5-mana 3/3 with lifelink. When it enters battlefield, return a permanent with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand. This is not good and constructed. Esper Sentinel. Wow, we're getting a really good human support here. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. Wow. So there's gonna be a lot of buffs to humans. So like say Esper Sentinel's even like 2 power, right? Or maybe even 3 power. Let's just say 2 on average. They cast a sweeper. If they don't play 2, you draw a card. I mean, that's pretty good. It's also just a 1-mana human, which is also good. It's also an artifact creature, which is also good. I think Esper Sentinel's played in the modular decks. I think it's played in the humans decks. I think this card is very good. Fairgrounds Patrol is a 2-mana 2/1 with 1 and a white. Exile Fairgrounds Patrol from your graveyard to create a 1/1 Thopter with flying. Okay, I don't think that's playable. It is a human though. Glorious Enforcer is a 7-mana 5/5 with flying and lifelink. At the beginning of each combat, if you have more life than an opponent, it gains double strike. So I think you just play Elesh Norn if you're going to play something like this. Healer's Flock is a 3-mana for 3 white 3/3 with flying and lifelink. So it's like a Healer's Hawk, but for 3 mana. Okay. I mean, mono white flyers? I don't know. Late to Dinner is a 4-mana sorcery. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield to create a food token. Now, 4-mana Reanimate for white is really weird. But it is 4-mana Reanimate. Is this playable? This has to be playable, right? 4-mana Reanimate's pretty good. But like the really powerful Reanimate cards right now are just pitching Emergent Ultimatum into the graveyard and then casting Emergent Ultimatum by cheating out a Scholar of the Lost Trove. So this doesn't play well into the deck that's already a thing, but maybe like Late to Dinner is a card that's played as a 1-of in that deck because you can actually get this off Emergent Ultimatum. So I'm going to say this is fringe playable. Scour the Desert is a 5-mana sorcery. Exile target creature card from your graveyard. Create X/1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying, where X is the exiled card's toughness. I don't think this is good. Sarah's Emissary is a 7-mana 7/7 with flying, and you choose a card type when it enters the battlefield, and you and creatures you control have protection from the chosen card type. I mean, this might be really good in the sideboard against some like crazy combo deck, but I think just play Elesh Norn if you're going to play a creature like this. You can take Unburial Rites off of it. Unburial Rites is probably better than Late to Dinner, actually. But if you're not playing black, then maybe you play this. Skyblade's Boon is a 2-mana aura enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 in lifelink. You can pay 2 and a white, return it to its owner's hand. Activate only if Skyblade's Boon is on the battlefield or in your graveyard. I wonder if this is played in auras. In like This might actually have a home in blue-white auras. I remember you told me what Pokemon Master was in the channel point rewards, but is there a command for it? Because I don't want to keep asking you if I forget. Oh, okay. We can make a command for it after this. I'm going to do the set review first, though, just for demo. Just remind me after the set review, then I'll create the command for Pokemon Master. Thurban Watcher is a 4-mana 2/2 with flying and vigilance. Other non-token creatures you control get +1/+1 in vigilance. I think if you're playing... I mean, this is an Angel, actually. I think this sees play... No, it doesn't, because Angels play Collected Company. So I'm going to say it doesn't see play in Angels. Soul Migration is a 7-mana 2/4. When it enters the battlefield, create 2/1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying with Evoke for 4. There's a lot better cards than this. Aeromoeba is a 4-mana 2/4. Flying, discard a card. Switch Aeromoeba's power and toughness till the end of turn. That's not good. I mean, I guess you could, in a Reanimator deck, you could play this. You just play this in turn 4, and then discard a card, and you can just keep discarding cards if you need them in the graveyard. That's the only really thing I see about this card. Burton Arrowless is a 2-mana 3/1. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Whenever you sacrifice a token, Burton Arrowless gains flying. Not good. Ethereum Spinner is a 3-mana 2/1. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, create a 1/1 Thopter artifact creature token with flying. It is an artifact creature. It is a human. It is a wizard. But I think if you're playing humans or wizards, you're not casting spells with mana value 4 or greater. So I'm going to say not playable. Filigree Attendant is a 4-mana X3 with flying, and its power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. Now, this card could be interesting, especially if this becomes like a... This could be like an 8/4, an 8/3, like super quick. But I'm not sure if this is played. I mean, 4 mana is a lot. It reminds me of like a Crackling Drake type card. We'll see if this sees play. If it sees play, it's going to be like fringe playable. Floodhound is a 1-mana 1/2. Pay 3 and tap it to investigate. To create a colorless clue artifact token with 2, sacrifice it, draw a card. This is interesting, but I think it's a lot of mana to investigate, so I'm going to say not playable. Foul Watcher is a 2-mana 1/2 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 1. Oh, it has Delirium. Foul Watcher gets +1/+0 as long as there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. So it's a 2-mana 2/2 flying. That's the upside, and it surveils. I don't think this is good. Ghostlit Drifter is a 3-mana 2/2 flyer. Pay 3, another target creature gains flying till end of turn. Okay. Channel, X in blue, discard Ghostlit Drifter. X target creatures gain flying. I don't think that's good. Hard Evidence is a 1-mana sorcery. Create a 0/3 blue crab and investigate. I don't think that's good. Junkwinder is a 7-mana 5/6 affinity for tokens. Wow. Whoa. I've actually never seen a card that has affinity for tokens. Whenever a token enters the battlefield under your control, tap target non-land permanent and opponent controls. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap tap. That's crazy. You play a token deck. If you play a token deck, all you need is 5 tokens, and it's relatively easy to do. You cast this for 2 or 3. It's like a 2 or 3 mana 5/6, which is already good. And then whenever you play your other tokens, you just like stop your opponent from blocking. I don't know. If you're playing a token deck, this card's actually like one of the best cards in a deck. Wow. Like, you just always want to draw this card. I think this is like really good in tokens, but like the fact that tokens I don't think are going to be good. But if tokens are good, this is going to be good. Parcel Mirror is a 2-mana 2/1 artifact creature. You can pay 2 and sacrifice it to draw a card. If you're really in need for artifact creatures, maybe you play this, but I don't think it's good. Raving Visionary is a 2-mana 1/1. You can pay a blue and tap it to draw a card, then discard a card. Or it has Delirium. You can pay 2 and a blue and tap it to draw a card, and activate only if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. So you don't have to discard a card anymore if you have Delirium. I don't think this card's good in Historic. Recalibrate is a 2-mana instant. Return a creature to its owner's hand. If you discarded a card this turn, draw a card. This is strictly worse than Into the Royal. Rise and Shine is a 2-mana sorcery. Target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 0/0 artifact creature. Put up 4 +1/+1 counters on each artifact that became a creature this way. And it has overload for 6. So you can just like kill your opponent by paying 6 and then making every artifact a 4/4. Or you can just make an artifact a 4/4. This could be good in a modular deck if you're playing a lot of artifacts that are not creatures. But I don't think you'll be doing that. I mean, we do have the artifact counterspell. This could actually be played in like an aggro artifacts deck, playing like I don't know. Maybe it's not played. Maybe it's like a one of. Scuttling Tide is a 2-mana enchantment. You can pay 1, discard a card to make an 0/3 blue crab creature token. Has Delirium. Crabs get +1/+1 as long as there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard. So, it's 2-mana enchantment. You can discard a card, and then this actually fuels itself. It fuels Delirium. And then when you make a bunch of crabs, say you have like 3 crabs at this point, and then they all become 1/4s. Let's see. I think this can be played since it's an enchantment. Enchantments are pretty hard to deal with in Historic. You can play this against control decks, maybe. The fact that you have to discard a card makes it like a lot worse. But it does keep making 1/4s over and over again. If you're not playing red and you can't play the other card, you can't play like the blue-red one that makes 1/1 flyers, maybe you'll play this. I don't know. I don't really see it though. Steelfin Whale is a 6-mana 3/4 affinity for artifacts. It costs 1 less for each artifact you control, which is really good. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, untap it. I don't think it has good enough effect. Having affinity for artifacts is good, but if it had a good effect, it would be even better. What's up, Odd Eyes? Specimen Collector is a 5-mana 2/1. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 green squirrel. Wait, what? Create a squirrel and a crab? Are those related? Collecting specimens. Oh, there's a squirrel and a crab right here. Look at that. It's in the back of the thing. That's pretty cool. When Specimen Collector dies, create a token that's a copy of target token. Whoa. Create a token that's a copy of a token. That's weird. It's 5 mana, so I'm going to say no. Svialoon of Sea and Sky. This is one of the merfolks I was talking about. 3-mana 3/4, Merfolk God. As indestructible as long as you control at least 2 other merfolk, which is pretty easy. Whenever it attacks, draw a card. Okay. It doesn't even have to do combat damage. Other merfolk have Ward 1. Yeah. Yes. You can collect a company into this. It has indestructible. It draws cards. It gives your things like Ward 1. It dodges Deafening Clarion. Yeah. Yeah, this card is real. This card is very real. Merfolks are about to be real good. We even get that 1-mana Merfolk. Oh, man. All you Merfolk players out there, you're now happy. Thought Monitor is a 7-mana 2/2 affinity for artifacts with flying. Whenever it enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. I think this card's played. This blue modular deck is going to be pretty good. We have Thought Monitor. We have Rise and Shine. We have the Artifact Counterspell. We have a lot of Artifact Creature synergies. We have a couple really good modular cards. I think this card is going to be good. Definitely going to be played, I think. Because, like, it's pretty trivial to get this card to, like, 3 mana. And a 3-mana 2/2 flyer, draw 2 is very good. No Spreading Seas. Archfiend of Sorrows is a 7-mana 4/5 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, creatures and opponent's control get -2/2 till end of turn with an Unearth for 5. I think you should just play, like, that Worm card if you're going to play Archfiend for Sorrows. Bone Shards is a 1-mana sorcery. As additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature or discard a card. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. The fact that this can discard a card and doesn't have to sacrifice a creature makes this card playable in the Black-Red Arcanist deck. And it's also really good in a Madness deck. Also, maybe it's good in a Delirium deck. So I'm going to say Bone Shards is definitely played in Historic. Cabal Initiate is a 2-mana 2/1. Human Warlock, discard a card. It gets lifelink till end of turn, so maybe also in a Madness deck. Threshold, it gets +1/+2 as long as 7 or more cards are in your graveyard. So it's a 2-mana 3/3. when you have 7 or more cards in grave. But it also fuels itself and has lifelink. This card might see fringe play. Clattering Augur is a 2-mana 1/1. It can't block. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and lose a life. Okay, really good for Skeleton Tribal. Maybe Shaman Tribal. Pay 4 mana and return it from your graveyard to your hand. Oh man, that's like way worse than Gutter Bones. Discerning Taste. 3 mana sorcery, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Okay, we've already seen a card like this for 2 mana. You gain life. Okay, this is just worse than a 2 mana one. Echoing Return is a 1 mana sorcery, return target creature card and all other cards with the same name as that card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh my gosh, that's funny. You can send a bunch of reassembling skeletons to your graveyard with the other card, and then the Echoing Return these reassembling skeletons back. That's hilarious. I don't think it's good though. Guiltblade Prowler is a 3 mana 2/3. Pay 1 and tap it and pay a life to draw a card. Activate only if you've discarded a card. I don't think it's good. Hellmongrel is a 4 mana 4/3. Discard a card. Hellmongrel gets +1/+1 until end of turn. With Madness for 3. A 3 mana 4/3 that discards cards and gets +1/+1. This might be like a one of in a Madness deck. I think it's a good effect to have. A 4/3 is pretty good. We'll see if it's played. It's kind of like an iffy card. Maybe it's something that you like. If you like it, you're playing it. If you don't like it, you don't have to play it. Kitchen Imp is a 4 mana 2/2. Has flying and haste with Madness for 1 black. Alright, now this is really good for Madness. Hey Mina, how's it going? Really good for Madness. Madness for 1, a 1 mana 2/2 is very good, especially because the Madness deck is probably going to put a lot of creatures on the battlefield right away. On turn 4, you can play Seasoned Pyromancer that we've already seen, discarding Kitchen Imp, and then play Kitchen Imp. So, very, very good. Yes, these are new cards. This is the set review for Historic Horizons. Legion Vanguard is a 2 mana 2/2 Vampire Soldier. Maybe it goes in Vampire Tribal. Pay 1, sacrifice another creature, and it explores. Oh. Sick. Maybe this is played, but no, maybe not. There's a 2 mana vampire that draws a card, so I'm gonna say this is not played right now. How many cards are in this set? Like 700. It's a lot of cards. Necrogoyf is a 5 mana X4. Its power is equal to the number of creatures in all graveyards. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card. Oh, that's funny. So this could be good in like a Madness deck. Oh, it has Madness for 3. Wow. Interesting. The fact that this has Madness for 3 and it also just makes your opponent discards cards over and over again might be good. Necromancer's Familiar is a 4 mana 3/1. Has flying and it has Hellbent. Whenever it has lifelink as long as you have no cards in hand. Okay. You can pay 1 and discard a card. It gets indestructible. I don't think this is good. This will be available for Historic Rocco Loco. Nested Champler is this goes live August 12th. My birthday stream is August 13th. Nested Champler is a 1 mana 1/1. When it dies, create X tapped 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Wait, what's up with non-squirrels creating squirrels, chat? What is up with this? This is the second non-squirrel card that makes squirrels. That's just weird. Alright, Sinister Starfish is a 2 mana 0/3. It has tap to surveil 1. If you're playing a Delirium deck and you have no ways to put cards in your graveyard, which you should have cards in your graveyard to put in your graveyard, and cards that are better than this, you can just play this. Sudden Edict is a 2 mana instant. Split Second. This is the first split second card in Historic. Target player sacrifices a creature. Now, Split Second is important because it means that it can't be countered, and no other cards can be added to the stack. The stack just ends. Split Second specifically says, as long as this spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. Yep. It just ends the stack. Torox Canticle is a 4-mana sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a card from it. That player discards that card, then discards a card at random. This is way worse than even Mind Rot. It's 1 mana more expensive than Mind Rot, and Mind Rot's already bad. Yeah, you can still morph and foretell, yes, but it just ends the stack. Outside of those things. Vermin Gorger is a 2-mana 2/2. You can tap it to sacrifice another creature. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Not good enough. Unless you're spamming tokens with vampires, but I don't think so. Young Necromancer is a 5-mana 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile 2 cards from your graveyard. When you do, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Uh-huh. I don't think this is playable. Arcbound Tracker is a 3-mana 0/0 with Menace and Modular 2. So now we have a red artifact creature, dog. Maybe there's a blue-red modular deck coming. Whenever you cast a spell other than your first spell each turn, put a 1/1 counter on Arcbound Tracker. Ooh, interesting. Huh. 3-mana 2/2 seems pretty expensive. If it was 2 mana, it would be very good. I'm not sure about 3 mana though. This is historic Jumpstart, Chippy Monk. We get Arcbound Whelp, which is a 4-mana 0/0. Flying. It gets +1/+0 till end of turn. It has Modular 2, so it's a 4-mana 2/2 flyer that has fire breathing. I'm going to say this card's not playable. We get Blazing Rootwalla, which is a lizard for 1 mana 1/1, and it has red, and it gets +2/+0 until end of turn, activate only 1. So it's a one-time fire breathing for 2. Madness for 0. Well then, we get Madness for 0. A 0-mana 1/1 that can be a 3/1. I think this is very good. Very, very good in Madness. Especially because we already have a couple good Madness cards already. And we also have Faithless Looting in this format. Yeah, I'm definitely building this. By the way, I am accepting deck submissions for decks like these. If someone would like to build a deck, I am accepting these to be played on my birthday stream. So if you have a deck that you want me to play with these new cards in it, feel free to build it on wherever you want to build it. That lets you have the new cards on it, and you can submit those to me in the Discord. If you're subbed, you get a free one. If you're not subbed, it is going to be $10. If you'd like me to play it on the same day, it is $25. Madness is going to be day 1, tier 1. I think so. It's going to be very good, I think. Bloodbraid Marauder is a 2-mana 3/1. It can't block. It has Delirium. It has Cascade as long as there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. So, yes. Nice. Nice. I like that it's a 2-mana 3/1. I like that it has Cascade. It reminds me of Bloodbraid Elf. So we'll see if this card is good and historic. There's a good chance it can be good. Especially if you're playing a Delirium deck. Brea's Apprentice is 2 and a red for a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1. Thopter artifact creature token with flying. You can tap it and sacrifice an artifact, and it can be the one with flying that you just created. Exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play it. And target creature gets +2/+0 till end of turn. Interesting. This is an artifact creature that is an artificer. So it's an artifact creature that makes another artifact, which could be really good with, like, say, a blue-red modular deck. We already have Arcbound Tracker. We already have the blue counterspell. We already have... I'm seeing a pretty good red-blue modular deck coming. Hello, Whisker Whale. How's it going? Captain Ripley Vance is a 3-mana legendary creature. It's a 3/2. Whenever you cast your third spell each turn, put a 1/1 counter on Captain Ripley Vance, then it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Now, your third spell is going to be very hard to do, so I don't see this card being reliable, so I'm going to say no. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Hello? Delirium is a thing. Dragon Rage Channeler is an historic. Holy crap. Alright. Red's the best color. Alright. Red is the best color in historic by freaking far. There's no Lightning Bolt, but let's read this card together if you're not familiar with this card in Historic. It is all over Modern. It is like in every deck in Modern. So, yeah, let's read this. It is a 1 red human shaman. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, surveil one. Which is already pretty good. It's not once per turn. Would have preferred Ragavan. You forgot the Kappa. Y'all's got it for you. Delirium. As long as there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, Dragon's Rage Channeler gets +2/+2, has flying and attacks each combat if able. So this is a nice looking 1 mana 3/3 flyer. So, yup. This card is insane. And this card will be played a lot. Yeah, well, there's Bobble in Modern, yeah, but there's also a lot of good artifacts in Historic, too. Like, someone's going to make it work. Faceless Salvaging is a worse Faceless Looting, I think. It's a 2-mana instant, discard a card, then draw a card with Rebound. No, we don't have a 0-mana sacrificing artifact, but we still have really good sacrificing artifacts. Faceless, let's see. Galvanic Relay is a 3-mana sorcery. Exile the top card of your library. During your next turn, you may play that card. With Storm. Oh. Oh. Oh, please, no, not Storm. Alright, moving right along. Gouge Zealot is a 4-mana 4/3 reach. Delirium. Whenever it attacks, if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, it deals 1 damage to each creature defending player controls. I could see this in the Delirium deck against other decks that put a bunch of X1s on the board. But other than that, pretty bad. You bought a playset of Goblin Guides a bit ago for like $80 for your burn deck, another literally $6. Wow. I think that's because of Dragon Rage Channeler and Ragavan being insane. We have Harmonic Prodigy as a 2-mana 1/3 with Prowess. If it's a wizard prowess. Oh my gosh. Okay. If an ability of a shaman or another wizard you control triggers, the ability triggers an additional time. Oh. Wait, what if you go turn 1 Soulscar Mage, turn 2 Harmonic Prodigy, attack with Soulscar Mage, turn 3, if you play like 2 spells, like 2 burn spells, Harmonic Prodigy triggers an additional time, and Soulscar Mage is a wizard. So this gives your Soulscar Mage and itself double prowess? No, another wizard, okay. It doesn't give itself double prowess, but it gives... Okay, you can kill your opponent from, like, infinite out with this card. Yeah, mono red prowess, red blue prowess, or red white prowess with Luris is going to be very, very good for wizards, or even a Jeskai Wizards deck. Yeah, it's going to be crazy with this card. Lightning Spear is a 2-mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has trample. You can pay 2 in a red to sacrifice it, and it deals 3 damage to any target, and you can equip 1. I don't think that's playable. Revolutionist is a 6-mana 3/3. When Revolutionist enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. With Madness for 4. I think that's too expensive for Madness. I'm going to say no. Skophos Reaver is a 3-mana 2/3. Oh my gosh, that flavor text is in all caps. As long as it's your turn, Skophos Reaver gets +2/+0. So it is a 4/3 on your turn. Madness for 2. Interesting. Maybe this is like a 2-of? On turn 3, you Faithless Looting into this card, and then you just play this card. And then on your turn, it's a 4/3. Maybe it's playable. If there's, like, not a lot of Madness cards for, like, low mana cost, you can play this. Spreading Insurrection is a 5-mana sorcery. Gain control of a creature you don't control till end of turn. Untap it, gains haste with Storm. Oh, no. There's going to be a deck that just relies on this card to steal your opponent's entire board and kill them with it. That's funny. Strike It Rich is a 1-mana sorcery. Make a treasure token with Flashback. This card is really good in decks that have sacrifice triggers. Like, if you sacrifice anything, like, that's the only way I can really see this being a thing. Is, like, if your deck loves to sacrifice. Because then the treasure, you can just sack the treasure. But paying 1 mana for a treasure token is, like, whatever. You might as well not play this card. Unholy Heat! Oh my gosh. We have Dragon Rage Channeler and Unholy Heat? Okay. Okay, dude. Okay, dude. I think I need a drink for this one. Jim and Tonic, thanks for the raid. Welcome, welcome. We're going over our Historic Horizons set review. How's it going? Unholy Heat is a 1 mana instant. Unholy Heat deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Now, it's a shock that can't go face, but you just wait. With Delirium, it deals 6 damage if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. Well then, 1 mana instant deals 6 is absolutely absurd. Especially because people are going to be citing Elder Gargaroth against red aggro decks. Unholy Heat is basically making Elder Gargaroth unplayable. Wow. Wow. Holy crap. You might just have to play... You might just have to scrap Elder Gargaroth now. You might just have to play the 5 mana card that gains 5 life. Like on Enter the Battlefield, then when it dies it makes a 3/3. I forgot what the card's name is, but it's a pretty good card. Yeah, you might just have to play Thragtusk now because Unholy Heat's a card. Yeah. Like Elder Gargaroth is actually I'm like at a loss for words. Like I don't even think Elder Gargaroth is playable anymore. I mean, maybe it's playable and just hope your opponent's not playing Unholy Heat. But holy crap. I mean, unholy crap. Oh man. I cracked myself up. Oh man. Oh. Unholy crap. Anyway. Vishino Lashclaw is a 2 mana 2/2. Tap, discard a card. Creatures you control gain haste till end of turn. So maybe this is played in a Madness deck. Resto Thrag is a nightmare? Oh yeah. We haven't even gotten that far yet. Ave Progenitor Ooze is a 5 mana 2/2 with Storm. It isn't legendary if it's a token. Okay. Ave enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter for each other ooze you control. Whoa. So you can just make a bunch of these? How is this good? Like, I would say this is powerful, but how did this win? Like, if you're playing a Storm deck, you might as well play a Storm card that wins the game on the spot instead of, like, you know, like Grape Shot that we already have, instead of, like, playing Progenitor Ooze. Yeah, it has the same symbol as Modern Horizons 2, yeah. Let's see. Bannerhide Crushok is a 4 mana 4/4 with Trample with Reinforce 2. What Reinforce is you can pay 1 under green and discard this card. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature. It can scavenge for 7. You can pay 7 to exile this card from your graveyard. Put a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the card's power. To this card's power to target creature. Alright, maybe it's good in like a counters deck. It is a 4 mana 4/4 with Trample, so even if you cast this as a creature, it's not that bad. Chatterfang Squirrel General. So we're getting squirrels. It has Forest Walk, so it can't be blocked if your opponent controls a forest. If 1 or more tokens will be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel tokens are created instead. And then you can pay a black and sacrifice X number of squirrels to have target creature get plus X minus X till end of turn. Chatterstorm. So we're getting Chatterfang and we're getting Chatterstorm. We're getting Chitterspitter. Squirrel Tribal. Chatterstorm says you can create a 1/1 squirrel with Storm. Nice. Chitterspitter is a 3 mana artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a token. If you do, put an acorn counter on Chitterspitter. Nice. Squirrels you control get +1/+1 for each acorn counter. Oh. You can pay a green and tap it to make a 1/1 squirrel token. Oh. Interesting, interesting. I think the card's good. Deep Wood Denizen is a 3-mana 3/2 with Vigilance. At pace 6 mana, tap it to draw a card. It costs 1 less for each +1/+1 counter on creatures you control. I don't think this card's good. If it was 2 mana, it would be great. Dusk Shell Crawler is a 2-mana 0/3. When it enters battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. So maybe itself. Each creature with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. Now, there's already a card that says that, and this card's worse than that. But maybe it's better since it also puts a 1/1 counter on it, but it's a 0/3. I don't play Historic. Is there enough low-cost stuff for Storm to work? Oh, yeah, for sure. It's like, you can definitely build a Storm combo deck in Historic, if you like Storm. Funnel Web Recluse is a 5-mana 3/5 reach. Morbid. When it enters the battlefield, if a creature died this turn, investigate. That's not good. Glimmer Baron is a 1-mana oof. Sacrifice a token, it gets +2/+2 till end of turn. That's not good. Herd Baloth is a 5-mana 4/4. Whenever one or more 1/1 counters are put on a Herd Baloth, you may create a 4/4 green beast creature token. Whoa. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on Herd Baloth, you may create a 4/4. What? Yes, I am hyped for Historic Horizons, Partister. Wait, Herd Baloth could be like a really, really good top end for a counters deck. Like, you play this on turn 5, or turn 4 if you have a mana dork or whatever. You put a 1/1 counter on this from like Luminarch Aspirant or whatever. You get a 4/4. If you play Paper Modern, Whisker Whale, then you're going to love Unholy Heat and Dragon Rage Chandler literally in coming into Historic on August 12th. You know, and Shatterfang and Shitterspitter. But I really think Herd Baloth could actually be good. Play this, Luminarch Aspirant trigger, or whatever else you have. Put a counter on this, make a 4/4, and you just do this every turn. Or like multiple times a turn. It's just whenever one or more are put. So you put a 1/1 counter on it, make a 4/4. Put a 1/1 counter on it, make a 4/4. 1/1 counter, make a 4/4. Wow. I mean, that's pretty good. I'm gonna say this is playable. Even at 5 mana. I mean, 5 mana is a lot, but you know, it's very powerful. Maybe it's like a 1 or 2 of top end card. Hunting Pack is a 7 mana instant, make a 4/4 with Storm. Really expensive, and I don't think it's good because of that. Jewel-Eyed Cobra is a 3-mana 3/1 with Death Touch. Whenever it dies, create a treasure token. That's not good. Sanctum Weaver is a 2-mana 0/2. Add X mana of any one color where X is the number of enchantments you control. I mean, it is an enchantment itself, too. Is this a strictly better... It's not a strictly better Paradise Druid, because Paradise Druid has hexproof. But this does add a lot of mana. Like, a lot of mana. This is definitely in an enchantment deck. Is there a recurable 1/1/1/1 source in Historic? Yes. We have the 1 mana artifact that when a creature dies, put 1/1 counters on it. And then at the beginning of combat, you can put 1/1 counters on a target creature you control equal to the number of counters on that card. Yeah, the Ozolith. Wow, Whisker Whale. Whisker Whale, if you have any Historic decks that you want me to play, you can look at my deck submission program in the Discord. And you can submit a deck to me if you'd like me to play one on stream. Sanctum Weaver, I think, is played in an enchantment deck for sure. Scurry, it is in the Discord, and it is under the deck submissions tab, so make sure you read the frequently asked questions. Scurry Oak is a 3-mana 1/2 with the Evolve. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature had greater power of toughness than this creature, which it probably does, because this has 1 power, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on Scurry Oak, you may create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. This is the 3rd card that makes squirrels that's not a squirrel. Wow. The third card that's not a squirrel that makes squirrels, I repeat. I repeat, squirrels come out of non-squirrel cards. I think this is a fun card. I don't think it's good, but it's very fun. Smell Fear is a 2-mana sorcery. It just says proliferate. Target creature you control fights up to one target creature you don't control. This could be really good in either the modular decks, if you have a green modular deck, or maybe a 1/1 counters deck if you're playing Selesnya counters. This card is probably okay. If it was an instant, it would be a lot better. If it was 1 mana, it would be a lot better. But since this proliferates and fights, I think this might find a spot. It's the Cult of Squirrels in MTG. Have you not heard? Listen, squirrels can't squirrels even take down Emrakul? Squirrel Sanctuary. 1 mana enchantment. When Squirrel Sanctuary enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. So it's a 1 mana 1/1 squirrel. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you may pay 1. If you do, return Squirrel Sanctuary to its owner's hand. Okay, so this is a perpetual number of squirrels. As long as you have 1 mana available, which is very good. This is definitely a 4 of. 1 mana 1/1 squirrels are too good. Squirrel Sovereign is a 2 mana 2/2 squirrel. Other squirrels get +1/+1! Yes! Squirrel Tribal's a thing! Let's go! Sylvan Anthem is a 2 mana enchantment. Green creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever a green creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. Interesting. This is a really good anthem. Maybe in Squirrel Tribal. Interesting. Hey, Whiskerell, thanks. Just read over the deck submission tab. And then you can ask me any questions in chat if you'd like. Timeless Witnesses is a 4 mana 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So it is an Eternal Witness like card that has eternal eyes. Wow, I see it. Okay, it's a pun. Got it. Eternal Eyes has 7 mana, and then you create a token that's a copy of Timeless Witness, and it's a 4/4 black zombie human shaman with no mana cost. Eternal Eyes only as a sorcery. So I don't think this card's playable unless it's in some kind of combo deck or because like I don't really think like this is a value card for sure, but I don't know if you're going like super value in Historic right now with like how fast the format is. Timeless Provisioner is a 3 mana 3/2 with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a food token or a treasure token. It gives you the option of a food or a treasure. Funny. It's not good though. Urban Daggertooth is a 4 mana 4/3 with vigilance and rage. Whenever it is dealt damage, proliferate. Interesting. We have a new dino, which is pretty cool, but it doesn't work with any other dinos that are played in dinos, so I'm going to say no. Yeah, not giving us Tireless Tracker is very sad. Like, if Tireless Provisioner gave us a clue, it would be broken. But guess what? That's just Tireless Tracker. And Tireless Tracker is just infinitely better than Tireless Provisioner. Verdant Command is a 2 mana instant that is actually a command. It makes a squirrel. It makes 2 tapped 1/1 squirrels. Okay, Squirrel Tribal. Or you can counter a loyalty ability of a Planeswalker. Okay, weird. You can exile a target card from your graveyard, which is okay. It could be a sideboard card, or maybe even a main board card just to play squirrels. And target player gains 3 life. Or I should say. And you can choose 2 of these. I think this is a 4 of card in Squirrel Tribal. 4 of Squirrel Tribal. Very good card. Ren's Run Hydra is an X and 1 with reach. When Ren's Run Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, it has reinforced for X. You can pay X and 2 green to discard this card and put X +1/+1 counters on target creature. Now, this is pretty good, but it's just worse than the other one. It's worse than the artifact creature, so I'm going to say not playable. If this had trample, we could be talking, but like it's still not good. But this card also just puts 1/1 counters on things, which is still okay. Maybe it finds a place, but I don't think so. Arcbound Shikari is a 3 mana 0/0 with First Strike. Enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each other artifact creature you control. And it's modular for 2. So maybe there's a Jeskai modular deck that you could be playing with Arcbound Shikari. Interesting. We have a lot of red cards that work with modular. We have a lot of blue cards that work with modular. Maybe it's worth splashing white for this card. Arcus Acolyte is a Selesnya 2/2 with reach and lifelink, so it has a good rate. 2 mana 2/2 reach lifelink is good. Outlast for 1. You can pay 1, either a green or a white, to put a 1/1 counter on this creature, and Outlast only as a sorcery. Each other creature you control without a +1/+1 counter has Outlast. Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, this is very good. I mean, a 2 mana 2/2 that can get a counter is already good, and having reach and lifelink's already good, and then it gives each other creature without a counter the ability to get counters. I mean, that's really good. Ave will be legal in Historic when Historic Horizons come out? Yes. I believe Ave is the progenitor to Ooze, yes. It will be legal in Historic, yes. Like, it's not just a bear. Like, it's a bear that has a bunch of upside. It gives your other creatures upside, too. This is pretty good. I believe this is actually played in Selesnya counters. You have to start with a news deck? Okay, sounds good. Let's do it. If you're not a sub and you want to submit deck lists to the channel, I would recommend becoming a sub, because you get 1 free deck list a month if you're a sub. 1 free deck for me to play. And it's already $10 if you're not a sub to have me play a deck. You might as well sub and pay $5 so that you can have me play a deck for free. Let's see. Breathless Knight is a 3 mana 2/2 with flying and lifelink. Whenever Breathless Knight or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature entered from a graveyard or you cast it from a graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on Breathless Knight. Whenever a Breathless Knight or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, if a creature entered from a graveyard or you cast it from a graveyard. And put counters on this. Okay. I guess it's Madness? Mardu Madness? I don't think it's that good. Captured by Legax is a 3 mana aura enchant creature. It can't attack or block. Whenever it enters the battlefield, support 2. Put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. I don't think that's good. Yeah, it's the wrong colors, right? Chainer Nightmare Adept is a 4 mana 3/2. Discard a card. And you can discard a card infinitely, right? You may cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn. Activate only once each turn. Just kidding. It says activate only once. So this is good. You can discard a Madness card, cast a Madness creature, and then you can cast any creature from your graveyard this turn. You can even do that. I guess this works with Breathless Knight. If you play Mardu, maybe there's a Mardu Madness deck with Breathless Knight, but it's probably not worth going into white for that. But I think Chainer's actually really good. Discard a card, cast any creature from grave this turn. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste. So it gives all your Madness cards haste. So, that's pretty good. Chrome Courier is an artifact creature for 3 mana, 1/1, flying. When Chrome Courier enters the battlefield, reveal the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. If you put an artifact card into your hand this way, you gain 3 life. Huh. We were talking about that Jeskai modular deck. This is an artifact creature, but it's only a 1/1. But it does draw a card. Yeah, Prime Speaker Vanifar's News. I don't think this is played. Maybe if it was like a 2/1, it would be played. I don't know if a 3 mana 1/1 is good enough. It does draw a card, though. Maybe. Combine Chrysalis is a 2 mana artifact creature. Tokens you control are flying. Let's see. Manolia Lunar, thank you very much for the follow. Pay 4 mana and tap it, sacrifice a token, make a 4/4. Whoa. I think this is a fun card. I don't think it's a good card. But you can pay 4 mana and sacrifice a treasure token. It says any token. You can sacrifice a squirrel token. You can sacrifice a food token. But it seems kind of bad, yeah. Dreadkeeper is a 5 mana Golgari 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 squirrels. Oh my gosh! This is like the 4th card that's not a squirrel that makes squirrels. What is wrong with this game? It's not a battle trick though, Chippy, because it says activate only as a sorcery. So Dreadkeeper makes 2 1/1s when it enters the battlefield. You can pay 3 in a black to have squirrels get +1/+0 and gain menace. The word squirrels on the card's busted. Can't beat it, unbeatable. Goblin Anarchomancer is a Gruul 2/2. Each spell you cast that's red or green costs 1 less. Does anybody say Storm? Goblin Anarchomancer. You could build a Teamer Storm deck and play Goblin Anarchomancer and Goblin Archaeomancer. Oh no. Oh no. Yikes. It makes all your cards cost 2 less. Well, most of your cards. Yikes. There might be a grape shot deck with this card, and I'm not okay with it. Yeah, if Goblin Anarchomancer was legendary, I would say yes. But yes, this plus Bard class that makes all your cards free is insane. Oh, no. The fact that it's a 2 mana 2/2 already just means you could just play this as a 2-drop in your deck. In your Gruul deck if you wanted. Yeah, green-black is just squirrels now. Graceful Restoration is a 5 mana sorcery. Choose 1, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Okay, below rate for a reanimate spell. Return up to 2 creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I don't think this is good. Lazatep Chancellor is a 2 mana 1/3 zombie wizard. Whenever you discard a card, you may pay 1 if you do amass 2. Oh wow, a new amass card. It's not good though. Lonus Cryptozoologist is a 2 mana 1/2. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. Tap, sacrifice X clues. Wow, that's weird. Target opponent reveals the top X cards of their library. You may put a non-land permanent card with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield under your control. That player puts the rest in the bottom in a random order. Okay, this card is just strictly worse than the other 2 mana green-blue card that looks at the top 7 cards of your own library and casts a creature card from it without paying its mana cost. Oh, you don't have to do it on Twitch. It could be PayPal. It could be whatever. If you can't sub, then it has to be through either probably PayPal. Yeah, Kinnan. I think this is just a worse Kinnan. Is Historic Horizons gonna up the power level of Historic to the point where it might start to make sense to unban Veil Summer? No. I think Veil Summer's too good. I think they would need to print Autumn's Veil or something into the format, or nerf Veil Summer, because Veil Summer is still kind of overpowered if you're still drawing a card from it. Well, yeah, Lotus can hit Planeswalkers, but you don't know if your opponent's playing Planeswalkers or not. Priest of Fell Rites is a 2-mana 2/2. You can tap to pay 3 life and sacrifice Priest of Fell Rites to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery. We have a card that's similar to this already. But this also has Unearth. Return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, it gains haste. So, like, you can just, like, unearth this for 3 into 3 black-white, and then just use its ability right away. So this is just like another copy of Unburial Rites. For, like, an extra mana. Like, you just play this in your Reanimate deck, and it just goes to the graveyard because you're milling cards, and then you just bring this out for 5, tap it, pay 3 life, sacrifice it, return a creature. Like, that's pretty good as, like, more copies of Unburial Rites in your deck. I would say this is played. Prophetic Titan is a 6-mana 4/4 Delirium. When it enters the battlefield, choose one. If there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, choose both. It deals 4 damage to any target, and, or, I guess if you have Delirium, you do both. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Interesting. Yeah, you can also activate Priest of Fell Rites in turn 3. Yeah, I think it's played. I think it might even be a 4-of because it's not legendary. I don't think Prophetic Titan's good enough because it's 6 mana. Rakdos Headliner, I think, is going to be really good in a Madness deck. Rakdos Headliner is a 2-mana 3/3 with haste, and it has Echo, discard a card. So you just play this, hit them for 3 on turn 2, and then on your turn, you either discard a card or sacrifice this. So you discard a card because you wanted to discard a card because you're playing Madness, and then trigger your Madness card, which is pretty good. Ravenous Squirrel, so we get another black-green squirrel. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact or creature, put a 1/1 counter on Ravenous Squirrel. Okay, and you can pay 1 black-green and sacrifice an artifact or a creature. You gain a life and draw a card. Okay, so what happens here is on turn 1 you play Ravenous Squirrel, and on turn 2 you play Cat and Oven, and then you sack the cat, put a 1/1 counter on Ravenous Squirrel, and then you bring the cat back, sacrificing the food, you put another 1/1 counter on the squirrel, and then attack them for 3 on turn 2, and then you already hit them with the squirrel twice, so actually they go to 15 on turn 2, and then on turn 3, you do it again. On turn 3, you do it again, and consider, like, let's say you don't have any other cards besides those. On turn 3, you sacrifice and bring it back, and now it's a 5/5. Now you hit them to 10 with the cat trigger is 9. So on turn 3, they're at 9 life. Am I seeing that right? Yeah. If you have just Cat Oven plus Ravenous Squirrel, they go to 9 on turn 3. That's insane. And then then the Ravenous Squirrel is freaking 7/7. No, it's a 5/5. Gosh. This card's good in Cat Oven. And you can also just pay 3 mana and sacrifice an artifact. Like, if they go to kill your oven, you can just pay 3 mana in response, sacrifice the oven, and then you gain a life and draw a card. And then you put a 1/1 counter on it. Wow. Holy crap. That's really good. That's definitely played in Cat Oven. Stormgod's Oracle is a 3-mana enchantment creature, human shaman. Pay 1, Stormgod's Oracle gets +1/-1 till end of turn, so it becomes a 2/2. When Stormgod's Oracle dies, it deals 3 damage to any target. It's pretty good in limited. I don't think it's played in, well, it's not a 1-mana Corvold because it doesn't draw cards every time, but yes. You might play less Corvolds because of Ravenous Squirrel existing. Are these the digital-only cards that are coming? Well, there are digital-only cards. Should be quiet. But these currently are cards that will be in Historic, but they are also cards that are in Modern Horizons 2, the ones that we're currently looking at. We have Sithis, Harvest Hand, which is a Selesnya 1/2. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain a life and draw a card. Wow. Now there's three cards that draw a card when you play an enchantment now in Historic. There's Sithis, there's the Enchantress card, and there's like 2 other Enchantress cards already, and then there's this. So I think Enchantment Tribal is actually going to be really, really good. Part of the 800 new Historic, but nice. Thank you for explanation. I just got here. Yes. This is part of the new 800 Historic. Yeah, it's copies 9 through 12 of SRAM. Yeah, exactly. There's just like infinite of them. Terminal Agony is a 4-mana sorcery, destroy a creature with Madness for 2. Wow, I think this card's played. The fact that you can discard this card and destroy a creature for 2 mana is very good. The fact that it's a sorcery is a little, Wait, you can discard this on your opponent's turn. If you can discard on your opponent's turn, then you just can Madness this on your opponent's turn even if it's a sorcery. Because this says if you discard it into exile when you do cast it. So it actually doesn't matter if it's a sorcery if you discard it on your opponent's turn. But it is a 2-mana destroy target creature, which I think is very good in the Madness deck. We're getting Territorial Kavu, which is insane and replaces every 2-mana card in Gruul. Yeah, this could be a 5/5 on turn 2. So Territorial Kavu's power and toughness are each equal to the number of basic land types among lands you control. So really good with Triomes. Whenever a Territorial Kavu attacks, choose one. Discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. So, without fetch lands, this card gets a lot worse. Because you can't just, fetch for the Triomes that you need. But maybe in Niv Mizzet Reborn, this card could be really good since there's so many Triomes in that deck. This could just be a really good threat that you could just play. It exiles cards from graveyard. It also discards to draw cards. This probably replaces the threats that we're already playing in our current Niv Mizzet Reborn deck. This probably replaces those threats. Especially because we don't have a Gruul card in the main deck. We could just play this. We'll see. Wave Sifter is a 5-mana 3/2 flying. When it enters the battlefield, investigate twice. Okay. With Evoke for green-blue. So you can pay 2 mana, play Wave Shifter, sacrifice Wave Shifter, and you still get the clue tokens. Now, this is probably not better than Cloudblazer. But if your deck cares about sacrificing artifacts, this card's pretty good. But in general, I'm going to say this is worse than Cloudblazer and even worse than the 4-mana Azorius card that is a 2/3 flyer that draws a card. Yeah, I'd probably have to drop some checks for Shocks to play Territorial Kavu. I don't know if it's worth it or not, but it could be a huge blocker too. And it also discards to draw, and it also exiles cards from graveyards, which are 2 very relevant card abilities to do. Fast and Furious is a movie. I'm just kidding, it's a Magic card. It is a 3 mana for fast, discard a card, draw 2 cards. I don't think it's worth dropping the Temur Triumph for Territorial Kavu. I'm perfectly okay with having a 2 mana 4/4. And Pelucrinus could be okay, but I don't think it's needed. I don't want to play worse cards for the deck to make an already good card better. The card's already good. Let's see. Infurious is a 5-mana sorcery To have deal 3 damage to each creature without flying. I don't think this card's played. I think it's too expensive. Hey, thank you, Bobby, for the whole year. Would you like to keep your first badge, or would you like to, have the Charizard sub badge for a whole year? Excuse me, not just a movie, but the greatest cinematic universe of our generation. Nice. Cinematic universe for Fast and Furious? Heck no. No way. The best cinematic universe has to be, you know, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, obviously. Altar of the Goyf is a 5-mana Lurgoyf tribal artifact. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +X/+X till end of turn, where X is the number of card types among cards in all graveyards. I guess this works in Delirium. Lurgoyf creatures you control have trample. So it turns every creature you control into a Tarmogoyf. It's the boomer generation. Am I a boomer now? I'm turning 29 on the 13th. Someone said family. I don't know if Altar of the Goyf is playable since it's like a lot of mana. But maybe it's playable in, as like a Karn board type thing. Getting an artifact and making your little artifact creatures that you make off of Karn, like huge creatures, maybe. Batterbone is a 2-mana equipment living weapon. A creature gets +1/+0 and has vigilance and lifelink. Equip 5. So it's a 2-mana 1/1 Phyrexian, black Phyrexian germ creature token with vigilance and lifelink. I don't think that's good. Zoomers call millennials boomers. Sad. Anyone born after 2000 is a boomer? You mean a zoomer, right? It's definitely not better skull, it's better bone. Yeah, they did make 2 Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe movies. Monoskellion is a 2-mana 1/1. Monoskellion enters the battlefield with +1/+1 counter on it. So it works in modular decks. You can pay 1, remove a 1/1 counter from it, and it deals 1 damage to any target. Oh my gosh, this is like such a worse version of a couple other cards. But like, we don't have those couple other cards in Historic. Oh man. This is like a weird, worse version of, oh man. Is this card good? I mean, it's not walking... We're getting Batterbone and Monoskellion, but it's literally not Batterskull and Walking Ballista. But is Monoskellion good because it kind of acts kind of like Walking Ballista? Kind of maybe in a modular deck? If you're playing modular and you keep putting counters on this, is it kind of sort of maybe Walking Ballista? Maybe? You are kidding, Dazen. You are actually kidding. Mirror Scrappling is a 1-mana 1/1. Sacrifice it, put a 1/1 counter on a creature. Oh, God. I mean, that can't be good, right? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it saw play, Bobby. I knew Walking Ballista. I served Walking Ballista. You, sir, are no Walking Ballista. Nettle Cyst is a 3-mana living weapon. A creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. Okay. 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 Nettle Cyst. I'm thinking. Karnboard? Karnboard. Artifact enchantment decks. And it says artifact and or enchantment. I think this is really, really, really good. Uh-huh. I mean, it doesn't have any keywords. But it can go in an Aura's deck or it can go in an artifact deck. The fact that it gives +1/+1 for each artifact in a gem you control, and it is an artifact, which means it's at least a 1/1. And if you have anything, like, if you have like 3 artifacts on board, it's already a 4/4. Interesting. Ornithopter of Paradise is a 2-mana 0/2 with flying and add 1 mana of any color. The reason why they couldn't make it a 0 was because it would be better than Birds of Paradise in the best mana dork of all time. But the reason why they couldn't make it 1 mana is because it would already be better than Birds of Paradise because it's colorless. So they had to make it 2 mana just to make it not better than Birds of Paradise. Is there a Monoskellion Heliod combo? Wait, is there? No, because you have to pay a mana to remove the counter. That's why it's not a combo. If you have a way to make infinite mana, then yes. I think you have... It costs a mana, though, to remove a counter from it. You have to have a way to make infinite mana. Yeah, it's a combo, it's just not infinite, yeah. It's as much mana as you can pay. Zerda. Wait, no. Zerda can't reduce the cost to less than 1. So it doesn't work with Zerda. I wish. But yeah, Ornithopter of Paradise is really good in an artifact deck. But other than that, not good. Sanctuary Raptor is a 3-mana 2/1 flyer. Whenever it attacks, if you control 3 or more tokens, Sanctuary Raptor gets +2/+0 and gains first strike till end of turn. I mean, a 3-mana 5/1 flying artifact creature is not bad. But I don't know if I can justify paying 3 mana for this. When it's not guaranteed to be a 5/1. So I'm going to say no for now. Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp is a 1-mana 0/0 with modular 1. If a modular triggered ability would put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, that many +1/+1/+1 counters are put on it instead. You can pay a red to destroy target artifact you control. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Does anybody know why you'd want to destroy your own artifacts? And pay a white for it to gain flying until end of turn. Oh, it triggers modular. True. So it has modular 1, which means it enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. And then when it dies, you can also shift the counter to something else. That's true. It's so it can be a red-white commander? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We have Wonder, which is a 4-mana 2/2 with flying. As long as it's in your graveyard, you control an island. Creatures you control have flying. This could be a Merfolk card. This could be a Reanimator card to just throw in the graveyard. This could be a Madness card to throw in the graveyard. This could be a Delirium card to mill your cards and throw in the graveyard. But I don't think this card... I think this card might only be played if you're not playing blue, if you have a lot of discard cards. But I don't know if this card will ever be played. I mean, you could... Hey, what's up, Hazmat? You could also play this in a Faithless Looting deck and give like your Death Shadow flying, which is pretty cool. We have Squirrel Mob, which is a 3-mana 2/2. Squirrel Mob gets +1/+1 for each other squirrel on the battlefield. Discard to give your Phoenixes flying. Easy. Can you sack a Mana Rock, then pay and sack the Mana Rock to draw and still have the modular effect? I'm not sure I understand. How would you sack the Mana Rock? Can you sack a Mana Rock, then pay, and sack the Mana Rock to draw, and still have modular? I'm not sure I understand that question. Then we have Sterling Robe, which is a Selesnya enchantment. Other enchantments you control have Shroud. Oh. Well, this is insane in an enchantments deck. It also gives your enchantment creatures Shroud. You can pay 1 and sacrifice itself, search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, and shuffle. Oh, this card's insane. You can search for enchantment creatures with this. This is literally like Demonic Tutor. That also gives your stuff Shroud. Wow. Yeah, they give each other Shroud when you have more than one. I mean, you just win if you play, like, green-white Solemnity combo. But, I mean, if you're not playing against a creature deck, then you lose to control decks with that deck, but it is what it is. I think this is really good. It'll see play in enchantment decks for sure. And we have, like, 12, like, enchantment draw card synergies. Reprints new to Arena. We have a lot of these, so I'm going to go kind of fast with this. You were playing Sterling Robe back in middle school? Nice. Boomer energy. Abzan Battle Priest. Outlast for 1. Each creature with a +1/+1 counter on it has lifelink. I think with these cards, there's a lot of them that aren't good. I'm gonna go over these real quick and see which ones are good. 1/1 has flying. 1/1 has first strike. Cycling for 6 mana. This is not good. Anointer of Valor, not good. 6 mana. Blade Splicer is gonna be really good in humans. Humans or artifacts. It's a 3 mana 1/1 Phyrexian Human Artificer, so it is a human. When it enters the battlefield, make a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem artifact creature token. And golems have first strike. So it makes a 3/3 first strike artifact creature. And all golems have first strike for sure. And it's also a human. I think this is actually, like, pretty good. So I'm going to say Blade Splicer cease play. Bonds of Faith. I don't think this is... let's see. A trainer creature gets +2/+2 as long as it's a human. Otherwise, it can't attack or block. I don't think this is played. We have a Bone-Sized Sliver. So Sliver probably gets played in Slivers. Boros Elite. It's a human. And when this and at least 2 other creatures attack, it gets +2/+2. So it's a 1 mana 3/3 if you play Going Wide Human Tribal. Which could be played. This is Devouring Light for Convoke for exiling and attacking your blocking creature. I don't think that's good. Tap creatures, that's not good. Doom Traveler's a 1 mana 1/1 human. Okay. When it dies, make a 1/1. Not good enough. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform it. Okay, I need to check what this is. What's the transform? Hello? Hello, what's the transform? Handwear Militia Captain. What is the other side? Okay, it's Westvale Cult Leader. Westvale Cult Leader's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. Oh, okay. At the beginning of your end step, put a 1/1 white and black human cleric creature on the battlefield. Oh, that's good. So it's a 2 mana 2/2 human. Beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more creatures, including itself, transform it. Okay, yeah, I think this is good in humans. Like it makes an actual good creature on the backside. Hive Stirrings, let's see. Oh, put 2 slivers on the battlefield. That's good. Let's see. Restoration Angel. We're getting Resto Angel and Soul Hoarder. Oh. Okay, so 4 mana, 3/4 flash flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-angel creature you control to return it to the battlefield under your control. Yo. So, this card's insane. You just go turn 3 Soul Hoarder, turn 4, like, Skyclave Apparition, turn 5 Flash Restoration Angel in, turn 6 Yorion, and then you win. And you do Thragtusk things. Yikes. As long as we don't have Kiki Jiki, chat. No Kiki Jiki in the format. We went back to 2011? Yes, we did go back to 2011. Okay. Bobby says that Core Skyfisher is good. It's a 2 mana 2/3 flyer, but you have to return a permanent you control to the owner's hand. So if you play this on turn 2, you have to either bounce your 1-drop that you played, but if you don't play a 1-drop, you have to bounce a land or itself. So it's only good when you have other things. So maybe you can build a deck around it. Let's see. Return to the ranks is Convoke. Return X target creature cards with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So Return to the Ranks, I think, is a good card. I think this card is played in Pioneer, actually. In a black-white zombies deck. It's good with Oketra's Monument. Oh, true. Okay. Core is good for ETB deck? Okay. Yeah, for bouncing your stuff. Return to the Ranks is probably okay in like a black-white vampires deck or like a black-white zombies deck or skeletons deck or something like that. That you can just like bring your whole graveyard back to the battlefield. But maybe Agadeem's Awakening is just better than this. What's better, Return to the Ranks or Agadeem's Awakening? Probably Return to the Ranks because if you have a lot of creatures that have the same mana value. And Return to the Ranks can bring everything back, and Agadeem's can only bring 2 things back if that's your deck. So, I think this card's really good. I think it sees play. Rock Egg is a 3 mana 0/3 when it dies, make a 3/3. I don't think that's good. Sandstep Outcast. Nope. Selfless Cathar. I mean, it's a 1 mana 1/1 human, and you can pay 1 and a white and sacrifice it to have creatures get +1/+1. I don't think that's good enough. Sentinel Sliver is a 2 mana 2/2 sliver, and all slivers have vigilance. This is probably played in slivers. Seraph of the Dawn is a 4 mana 2/4 lifelink angel. That's not good because angels play Collected Company right now, and until they don't play Collected Company, this won't see play. We have another sliver here. Slivers get +0/+1. We have Sustainer of the Realm, 4 mana 2/3 angel. Like, all these 4 mana angels, they have to be really, really, really good. Like, very, 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 very good for the angels deck to not play Collected Company. So this is not good enough. Thalia's Lieutenant. Oh, humans. Oh, humans. The card that humans have been waiting for is here. We have Thalia's Lieutenant sound the alarm. When Thalia's Lieutenant enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each other human you control. Whenever another human enters the battlefield that you control, put a 1/1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. This card is a human 4-of staple in Modern, and will be a staple in Historic as well. We have a lot of very good humans. Thalia's Lieutenant is way up there as one of the best humans in the deck. And we also have freaking, what's it called? We also have the 1 mana 1/1 human that's all the way up here that we already went over, the Esper Sentinel. So you go turn 1 Esper Sentinel, turn 2 Thalia's Lieutenant, put a 1/1 counter on Esper Sentinel. Then your Esper Sentinel is now a 2/2, and if your opponent, you can sacrifice it to make your, Esper Sentinel says if your opponent casts their non-creature spell, they can pay a number of mana equal to its power, and if they don't, you draw a card. So like turn 1 Esper Sentinel, turn 2 Thalia's Lieutenant, turn 3 like play a couple more humans, grow the Thalia's Lieutenant is very, very good. So yeah. Or you just play a bunch of humans and then play Thalia's Lieutenant afterwards and buff all your humans. It's very, very good. Thraben Standard Bearer is a 1-mana 1/1 human. Pay 1 and a white, tap it and discard a card, put a 1/1 human onto the battlefield. I don't think that's played. I think there's better one drops than that. But if you want to play that, I wouldn't fault you for playing it. Winged Shepherd is a 6-mana 3/3, not good enough. I mean, it has cycling, so I guess it could be played in cycling decks. Yoked Plow Beast is also has cycling. It's a 7-mana 5/5, not good enough. Breaching Hippocamp is a 4-mana 3/2, has flash. Whenever it enters the battlefield, untap another target creature you control. Not good. Coral Helm Guide is a 2-mana 2/1. It's a merfolk. It has pay 5 and target creature can't be blocked. Not good enough. Diffusion Sliver. It's a blue sliver. It's a 1/1 for 2. Whenever a sliver creature you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless its controller pays 2. I think this might be a sideboard card in slivers. Dismiss is a 4-mana instant. Counter a spell, draw a card. We have better cards than this. We even have Exclude. It's 3 mana. Just the Wind is a 2-mana instant. Return target creature to its owner's hand with Madness for 1 blue. I don't think this would make me splash blue in a Madness deck if I played it. I think I'd just play Rakdos. But it's cool that we have this card. Maybe you play Grixis Magnus. I don't know. But still not good. Manic Scribe is a 2-mana 0/3 human wizard. When Manic Scribe enters the battlefield, each opponent puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Okay, so it's a mill card. Delirium. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, that player puts the top 3 cards into their graveyard. So I guess it's like, if you're playing blue, you can just like mill your opponent out. I don't know. That's not good enough. Master of the Pearl Trident. It is a merfolk. It's a 2-mana 2/2 merfolk. Other merfolk get +1/+1 and have island. Whoa! Other merfolk creatures you control gets +1/+1 and have island walk. Hello? Excuse me? Master of the Pearl Trident. Give me this. Merfolks are insane. Wow. We get another Lord and Island Walk. That means against control decks, they can't block your stuff with freaking Shark Typhoon. Master of the Pearl Trident's really good. Okay, Merfolk, are you listening? We're getting Mole Drifter, which is also really good in a Blink deck if you're playing that. It's a 5-mana 2/2. When it enters battlefield, draw 2 cards, and you can evoke it for 3 to have a 2 and a blue. Enter the battlefield, sacrifice it, and draw 2. What you can also do is you can pair this card. When you have 4 mana, you can pair it with the 1-mana Blink card and go evoke for 3, trigger on the stack, blink it, return to the battlefield, draw 4 cards, Mole Drifter stays. So, yes, that is good. This will see play. Merfolk staple is a staple in Merfolk. I don't know about any other format of Merfolk, so I'm reading this for the first time. Ninja of the Deep Hours. Where are the rest of the Evoke Elementals? We have one more that I already read. Ninja of the Deep Hours is a 4-mana 2/2 with Ninjutsu for 2. Whenever Ninja of Deep Hours deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. This is really good, especially because we have the other Dimir Ninja card that also draws cards. Ojutai Summons is a 5-mana sorcery. Put a 2/2 blue Jin Monk creature with flying onto the battlefield. Okay, that's already awful. It has rebound. Okay, sure. That card's bad. Scour of the Laboratory is a 6-mana instant with Delirium. Scour of the Laboratory costs 2 less to cast if you have Delirium. So it's a 4-mana, draw 3 cards as an instant. So that's actually really good if you care about Delirium or build your deck around you having Delirium. If you're a control deck and just like on your opponent's end step, cast this and draw 3 cards. Is like really good, actually. This might actually just see play. I don't know if this is better than like... Is this better than the 4-mana draw 2 cards? Because this is like 6 mana if you don't have Delirium. If you build your deck around this, and it's 4-mana draw 3 consistently on turn 4, it's very, very, very good. Isn't it worse than End of the Story? No, because every deck can play this, not just rogues. But Hieroglyphic might be better than this. But Hieroglyphic only draws 2 cards. But Hieroglyphic you can also cycle for 1. Stitchwing Scab is a 4-mana 3/1 flyer, zombie horror for blue. It's very rare that I see a zombie horror for blue. It has flying and it has 1 and a blue, discard 2 cards, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I don't think that's good. Tightening Coils is a 2-mana aura. Enchant creature gets -6/-0 and loses flying. That's not good. Asylum Visitor is a 2-mana 3/1 at the beginning of each player's upkeep. If that player has no cards in hand, you draw a card and lose a life. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is insane. Oh. This makes Madness actually good. Like, actually good. Like, I was already going to play Madness deck, but this card makes Madness really good. It's a 2-mana 3/1. And then when you start your turn and have 0 cards in hand, because you're playing Madness, you draw a card. And then you use your hand, then you draw a card. This card's really good. It also has Madness itself. Okay, nice. Dark Salvation is double X and black. So for sorcery, target player puts X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens on the battlefield. Then up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn for each zombie that player controls. I don't think this is played. It's a good effect, but it does. I don't know. I don't think it ends the game well enough. Deathwind is a X and black for an instant. Target creature gets -X/-X till end of turn. I mean, this does scale up in the game, though, but the other card's just better, right? The other card does the same thing, but can also exile cards out of the graveyard, so I would say this is unplayable. Diagraph Colossus is a 3-mana 2/2. Diagraph Colossus enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter. Oh, Erebos Intervention, that's what I meant to say. For each zombie card in your graveyard. Whenever you cast a zombie spell, put a 2/2 black zombie onto the battlefield tapped. This is very, very, very good for Oven Zombies. If you're building Zombie Tribal. Really, really, really good. Eyeblight Assassin is a 3-mana 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Not good enough. Face Vaulter is a 1-mana 1/1. For a Goblin Warrior, pay a black, sacrifice a Goblin, it gets +2/+2. Not good enough for Goblins. Flush Black Marauder is a 3-mana 3/1. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. I mean, we've already have a card like this, and the other card's better than this. Both of the zombie cards were a huge part of Zombies when they won the PT. Oh, yeah. I think it's really, really good. Haunted Dead is enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 white spirit creature with flying onto the battlefield. So it's a 4-mana 2/2, 3/3 worth of stats. You can pay 1 in the black, discard 2 cards, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I don't think that's good enough. Era of Falconwreath, discard a card, transform it. Okay, we're gonna read Era of Falconwreath then. Falcon Wrath. You get a 3/2 flyer. So 2 mana, and then discard a card, make a 3/2 flyer. I don't know. Is Haunted Dead good? I mean, it seems expensive. I mean, I guess you can discard it to the graveyard and then discard 2 cards. But Era of Falconwrath is really good in Madness too. You can just pay. You can play this on turn 2, discard a card that you want to discard anyways, and then you get a 3/2. Is that 3/2 a flyer? It is a flyer. Oh, nice Odd Eyes. I think this card's actually good. Indulgent Aristocrat is a 1-mana 1/1 with lifelink. 2, sacrifice a creature, put a 1/1 counter on each vampire. Is this good in vampires? I mean, this is not better than Knight of the Ebon Legion. But like, it could be the other 1-drop that they play if they want to play another 1-drop. You can link it in the Discord if you want in the Yu-Gi-Oh section, not ice. So I don't lose it. I don't know if this is played. It could see play. Leeching Sliver is a 2-mana 1/1. Whenever Sliver you control attacks, defending player loses life. This is definitely going to be played in Slivers. 1,000,000%. Carrier Thrall is a 2-mana 2/1. Whenever Carrier Thrall dies, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature token on the battlefield with it has sacrificed this creature. Add colorless to your mana pool. This is the first Eldrazi Scion card that we have in Historic. Markov Crusader is a 5-mana 4/3 lifelink. When it has haste as long as you control another vampire. Not good enough. Marrow Gnawer is a 5-mana 2/3. All rats have fear. Rat Tribal. Tap it, sacrifice a rat, put an X 1/1 black rat creature tokens into play, where X is the number of rats you control. So it's bad Krenko for rats. And gives your rats semi-unblockable. Okay, if you're playing Rat Tribal, this is definitely a 4 of. Or maybe a 3 of because it's legendary. Nozumi Cutthroat is a 2-mana 2/1 with fear. It's also a rat. Okay, putting the rats together, I see what you're doing here. Nozumi Cutthroat can't block. Sure. Akiba Gang Shinobi is a 5-mana 3/2 with ninjutsu for 4, and it is a rat. Whenever Akiba Gang Shinobi deals combat damage to a player, that player discards 2 cards. Okay. And you can play Ravenous Rats, and you can play Ruin Rat. It has Death Touch. When it dies, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. Well, that's kind of, not good, but... Well, I mean, discarding 2 cards when it deals combat damage is pretty pog. Skull Snatcher, 2-mana 2/1 ninjutsu for black. Whenever Skull Snatcher deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 2 target cards from that player's graveyard. I mean, it has 1 black ninjutsu. You have to play this if you're playing rats. Yes, I am now a 2-monitor streamer. Definitely Sag moment. Definitely Sag moment. Alchemist Greeting is a 5-mana sorcery. It deals 4 damage to target creature. And then Jitsu My Mole Drifter. Yeah. Madness for 2. So Madness for 2 deal 4 damage to a creature. I don't know if that's good enough. Battle Squadron is a 5-mana XX for flying. A flying goblin, hello? When its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. I mean, that's good. But I don't think it's good enough. That's flying, which is weird. Belligerent Sliver is a 3-mana 2/2 sliver, and each sliver you control it can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. That's definitely played. Blister Stick Shaman is a 3-mana 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Not good. Blur Slivers, 3-mana 2/2. Slivers have haste. Oh, that's definitely played. This is a 7 of if they could play 7 of these. Dragon Mantle is a 1-mana aura. Enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature has pay a red. It gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So it just gives something fire breathing. Fiery Temper. Oh my gosh, we get Fiery Temper. Oh yeah. Who said Lightning Bolt wasn't in Historic? Who said Lightning Bolt? We're going to have these awesome turn 2s where our opponent plays their 2-mana 3/3 and we go untap land on turn 2, Faceless Looting into Fiery Temper, discard Fiery Temper from Faceless Looting, Madness kill your creature, and our opponent is going to cry. This card is definitely good. Foundry Street Denizen is a 1 mana 1/1. Whenever another red creature enters battlefield under your control, it gets +1/+0 till end of turn. I mean, if you want to play another 1-drop in your Goblins deck, maybe it's this. Because, like, when you Muxus and get this, it sees each other card from Muxus, and it also sees the Kronkos, and it gives this, like, a bunch of attack. I can see that. Filigree Blade Vampire is a 2 mana 1/2. It is a Vampire Berserker. It has Trample. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may discard a card. If you do, it gets +3/+0. Is this good in Madness? A 2 mana 4/2 with Trample. Interesting. Goblin Dark Dwellers is a 5 mana 4/4 goblin with menace. When it enters the battlefield, you may cast your target instant or sorcery with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that card would be put in your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. I can see this being in a combo. It's also a good value card if you wanted to do that. Horling Outburst. Outburst is a 3 mana sorcery. Create 3 1/1 goblins. Not good enough. Goblins really want to be cast off, put on the battlefield off the top, and this is a sorcery. Incorrigible Youths is a 5 mana 4/3 haste with madness for 3. Not good enough. Insolent Neonate is a 1 mana 1/1 with menace, and discard a card. It discard a card, sacrifice it, and draw a card. Okay. I mean, this card's really good. I mean, this is good in Madness. This is good in just any deck that plays Faithless Looting. You want to play this? Also works in sacrifice decks. I feel like this card sees a lot of play. Maybe not a lot of play, but like maybe in a couple decks it's really good. Insatiable Gorgers is a 4 mana 5/3, and it attacks each combat if able. It has madness for 4, not good. Krenko's Command is a 2 mana sorcery that's not actually a command. It doesn't have options. I guess for goblins, the only option is to create more goblins. So that's 2 1/1 red goblins there. Discard a Dredge creature, mill a bunch. Exactly. In before Dredge, in the format, yikes. Mad Prophet is a 4 mana 2/2 haste, discard a card, draw a card. I don't think that's good enough. Too much mana. Rage Forger is a 3 mana 2/2. When Rage Forger comes into play, put a 1/1 counter on each other shaman creature you control. Whenever a creature you control with +1/+1 counter on it attacks, you may have that creature deal 1 damage to target player. I mean, it's really good if you're playing 1/1 counter Shaman Tribal. I mean, you could do that. And this card would be like the best card in the deck. Ravenous Bloodseeker is a 2 mana 1/3, discard a card. Ravenous Bloodseeker gets +2/-2 until end of turn, so it becomes a 3/1. I don't think this is better than the other, than like Insolent Neonate or the other one that discards cards. Reckless Racer is a 3 mana 2/3 with First Strike. It is a human pilot. Whenever Reckless Racer becomes tapped, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. I don't think that's good enough. Reckless Worm is a 5 mana 4/4 with Trample with Madness for 3. Not good enough. I don't think like the random creatures with like Madness for 3 or 4 or whatever are good. Like, yeah, you discard it, and yeah, you pay less. You pay 3 mana for a 4/4 Trample, but like, is a 3 mana 4/4 Trample even good enough? I don't think so. Renegade Cactus is a 1 mana sorcery. Target creature can't block this turn and draw a card. So this will be really good in those, prowess decks. Rage Forger pairs with that Shaman Trigger Doubler from MH2 that I believe is also in here. I think it says whenever you put a +1/+1 counter on it, put another one on it. I think. I don't remember seeing a trigger doubler, but we'll see. Shiv's Embrace is a 4 mana aura. 4 mana aura gets +2/+2 in flying, and you can pay red to have it get plus. So okay, that's not good. It basically makes one of your creatures a dragon. That's funny. Oh, yes, we did read that one already. The 2-mana creature that says Wizard Shamans trigger additional time. Okay. I don't know if that card's also a shaman though. Well, yes it is. Wait, is it? Yeah, I think this is also okay, I think that's good then. If you have that card into this card, you almost just like win the game on the spot. Like if you have turn 1 Soulscar Mage, turn 2 that Shaman, and then turn 3 Rage Forger, it's like pretty good. Oh, sick, God Eyes. Eric, yes, I am sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc. You can see that right on the top, right over there, I believe. If you want to get sleeves, cards, deck boxes, binders, playmats, singles, the new set, you can get 5% off by typing in code James5 at checkout. It's a meme thing in Modern. Maybe it's okay in Historic, yeah. Striking Sliver is a 1-mana Sliver. Ooh, and Slivers have first strike. That's definitely played. Thunderbreak Regent. 4-mana 4/4 with flying. Whenever a dragon you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Thunderbreak Regent deals 3 damage to that player. Dragon Tribal. I mean, it also itself deals 3 damage as well. And it's also a 4/4 flyer. It being 4 mana is better than the 5 mana one. But is this good enough for like a mono red deck in Historic? No, mono red deck should probably play like no 4 mana cards. Thunderbreak into Goldspan. Yeah, I mean this definitely goes in Dragon decks for sure. Yeah, Siege Rhino, if Siege Rhino was printed in Historic right now, I don't even think it would be good, unless you played like Yorion or something. Blinking Siege Rhino over and over again is pretty good. Wait, right? Doesn't Siege Rhino have an ETB trigger? It's a Helix? Did I just spell Siege Rhino wrong? Okay, so Thunderbreak Regent is definitely played in a Dragons deck for sure. Not sure if it'll make the cut for burn decks or anything like that. Adaptive Snapjaw is a 5-mana Lizard Beast with Evolve. Oh, it's a 6/2. I don't think that's good. Aetherstream Leopard is a 3-mana 2/3 with Trample, and at enters the battlefield you get an energy. Whenever Aetherstream Leopard attacks, you may pay an energy. If you do, it gets +2/+0 till end of turn. I don't think that's good enough. Awaken the Bear is a 3-mana instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains Trample. Not good enough. Battering Krasis. Oh, we get another Krasis card. 3-mana 2/1 with Trample and Evolve. Not good enough. Bestial Menace is a 5-mana sorcery. Put a 1/1 snake onto the battlefield, a 2/2 wolf, and a 3/3 elephant. I don't think that's good enough. Shadow the Squirrel. More squirrel cards! It's another 1/1. It's another 1-mana 1/1 squirrel, and it has flashback. Alright, that's definitely played in squirrels. Croconura is a 3-mana 1/3 with reach and evolve. I don't think that's good enough either. If this was 2 mana, I would say yes. But 3 mana, just no. Actual factual Grizzly Bears. Wow. Actual factual Grizzly Bear. But the most wow is Hardened Scales. We get a 1-mana enchantment that says if one or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. Yes, yes, and yes. Yeah, this card is busted, chat. We have Ozolith, we have Hardened Scales now, we have a lot of the modular stuff, we have a lot of counter doublers. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hardened Scales will definitely be a deck. We have Harrow. It's an instant. You sacrifice a land, and you search for up to 2 basic lands, put them in the battlefield, and shuffle your library. Wow, hello, Siege Rhino, just coming up in chat. Like 8 years later. The bot just woke up. It's taking a nap. Harrow is pretty good. I don't know if this card's better than Cultivate, though. Is it better than Cultivate? I mean, it might just be... I mean, it's an instant, so maybe it is. Is Harrow better than Cultivate? Oh, the answer untapped. Oh. That's like very good. Yeah, Harrow's insane. You go turn 2 Lotus Cobra, turn 2 play a land, make a mana Harrow. Get 2 more mana. Okay, yeah. Oh my gosh. It only ramps 1, but if you have Lotus Cobra, you're insane. Incremental Growth is a 5-mana sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, 2 +1/+1 counters on another creature, and 3 on another creature. That's just win more. Your cards should be already doing this by turn 5. It's actually +3 with Cobra because by playing the land already just to cast the card, it's already an extra mana. I'm pretty sure you're +3. I'm pretty sure you're +3 mana with Lotus Cobra. Right? You play a land untapped to even or you play a land untapped to cast Harrow. You gain a mana off Lotus Cobra. You pay 3 mana for Harrow. So now you're -2. You get 2 lands. Right? You have 1 land untapped already after you play the Harrow. You sacrifice one of the tapped lands that you used to cast it, and you put 2 more lands on the battlefield, and then you get 2 mana off the Cobra. So now you have 5 mana on turn 3. Yeah. Which is insane. And then you just cast Nissa Who Shakes the World. And then you win the game. Or you just play another Harrow and you just keep winning. Let's see. Mana West Sliver is a 2-mana 1/1. Slivers have add a mana of any color. Now that's insane. That's gonna be 4 of. Parallel Lives is a 4-mana enchantment. If an effect would put 1 or more tokens on the battlefield under your control, it puts twice that many of those tokens on the battlefield instead. Now that card's insane. If you're playing a token strategy, you play this. This is strictly better than the one that's 5 mana that we already have, the white one. Predatory Sliver is a 2-mana 1/1 sliver that says all slivers get +1/+1. That's also a 4 of. How do you play slivers with all these broken cards? How do you play 4 of these? You just play 1 ofs of the ones that you don't really care about? Yeah, you can play this and Anointed Procession. Yeah, hit 250 tokens even faster. Alright, Praise Vigilance is a 1-mana instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn and has rebound. That's not good. Not good enough. I mean, unless you're playing the, like, Infect deck that's, the Death Touch deck. That might be okay. Play like Praise Vigilance and scale up and like deal 3 damage and then rebounds for free. Deal 3 damage again, scale up, and that's just game. Servant of the Scale is 1 mana human soldiers. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. And when it dies, put X +1/+1 counters on a target creature you control where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on the Servant of the Scale. Is that just like a really weird way of saying modular? Really long and convoluted way of saying modular, right? So, like, this is definitely played if you're playing a modular green deck. Alright, Squirrel Wrangler is a 4-mana 2/2 squirrel. You can, no, it's not even a squirrel, it's a druid. Oh my gosh, it's another druid that makes squirrels, and it has squirrel in the name. Pay 1 and a green, sacrifice a land, put 2 1/1s on the battlefield. You can pay 2, sacrifice a land, all squirrels get +1/+1. Interesting. I don't know if this is played or not, but it's pretty cool. Striped Bears is a 4-mana 2/2 bear, and it draws a card. Okay, if you're playing Bear Trouble, I guess you're playing this. Pretty bad, though. To Drew, Path Warden is a 5-mana 5/4 Vigilance and Trample. Not good. Ulvenwald Mysteries is a 3-mana enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, investigate. That's pretty good value. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, create a 1/1. Ooh, that's very good value. I mean, if you're playing a green-based value deck, then, like, sure. It's kind of like a weird. What's that 3-mana creature again? That makes clues, and then it gets bigger when you sacrifice clues. It's kind of like a weird version of that. Bread for the Hunt. Yeah, this Overworld Mysteries is kind of like a weird Tireless Tracker. Bread for the Hunt is a 3-mana enchantment. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it deals damage to a player, you can draw a card. Yeah, it's not Tireless Tracker, but it's a weird, worse Tireless Tracker. Bread for the Hunt is, I don't think it's good because there's blue in it. Elusive Crokeyz is a 3-mana 0/4 fish mutant. It can't be blocked, and it has Evolve. If this was a Merfolk, I'd say maybe, but it's not a Merfolk. Nimbus Swimmer is a X and 2 with a flying. It's a Leviathan, and it's a battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. I mean, just play Hydroid Crokeyz. Shamble Shark is a 2-mana 2/1 with Flash and Evolve. I don't think Evolve's good because, like, you need other things for it to be good. I don't like cards specifically that need other cards to be good. I want the cards to just be good, which means it's not good. Bonded Construct is a 1-mana 2/1. It can't attack alone. I mean, if you're playing a really go wide artifact creature strategy, 1-mana 2/1 is really good. But, like, why would you play that when there's so many other, like, 1-mana artifact creatures that you could play that don't need another creature on board to attack with? Implement of Combustion is a 1-mana artifact. I guess Bonded Contract's good because we have Blinkmoth Nexus. You have, like, even more attackers. Maybe it's played because of Blinkmoth Nexus. Implement of Combustion is a 1-mana artifact. You can pay red and sacrifice it. It deals the damage to a target player. When it is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Oh, Shamble Shark is an actual shark? Oh, okay. It's oracled as a shark. Maybe on Arena it'll say shark. Implement of Combustion is interesting if you're playing... Wait. Hold on. This card's really, really good. Wait, this card is actually playable. Like, very playable. Extremely playable. Whoa. I'm just thinking, like, the Dragon's Rage Channeler deck. Like, this is played as, like, a card in Dragon Rage Channeler, right? Like, we have Dragon Rage Channeler, we have Unholy Heat. Like, do you just play this also as a 4-of? Like, I was looking for a good sacrifice artifact, and this is really good. You draw a card and deal a damage, and you're already an aggressive deck anyway. I think this is actually good and played as a 4-of in that deck. Anyway, Treasure Keeper is a 4-mana 3/3 when it dies. Oh, yeah, we do have Chromatic Sphere, but I think Implement of Combustion might be actually be played. But yeah, Chromatic Sphere does make extra mana. When it dies, reveal cards on the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card with converted mana cost 3 or less. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put all revealed cards not cast this way to the bottom of the library in a random order. So Treasure Keeper reminds me of the Eldrazi, that's 3 mana, 2 and a white. That does almost the same thing. It's a 3 mana 3/2. But this is slow. Yeah, Bomat Courier is good too in a Delirium deck, for sure. Yeah, Battery Shaper is the card I'm talking about, yeah. Let's see. Treasure Keeper, I'd almost rather just play, like, you know, the Sad Robot. What's up, Odd Eyes? Colony Garden is a tap land. Whenever it ends the battlefield, make an 0/1 green plant creature token. Okay. Sliver Hive. Add 1 to your mana pool. Add 1 mana of any color if you're casting a Sliver. Pay 5 and tap it to put a 1/1 colorless Sliver on the battlefield. Activate if you control a Sliver. Now, Sliver Hive's obviously insane in Slivers. You just play this card. You got a best of 3 sideboard for it? Nice, Gen.ban. I love that deck. Kiora, Wrath the Tides makes the Crackling Hatchling. Shoreline Scout conjures the Tropical Island. It also conjures... conjures this for the Merfolk deck. Tome of the Infinite conjures Swords to Plowshares, Light of Hope, Ponder, Force Spike, Dark Ritual, Duress, Lightning Bolt, Assault Strobe, Giant Growth, and Fog. Assault Strobe is a 1-mana sorcery. Target creature gains double strike till end of turn. Well, those are good cards. Oh, thank you, Gem.pen. Hey, thank you. I'll look it up on Twitter. Boneyard Apparition puts 3 resembling skeletons in your graveyard. We read Dalvriel Soul Broker's conditions and offers already. And Freyalise, we've already read the Regal Force. So, this is the end of it. Let me know what you think in the comments if you're watching this from YouTube. I'm super excited to play with this. Once again, as you heard me on stream, you can make me play whatever deck you want me to play. If you're a sub, you get 1 free one. So, if you are subbed to the channel on Twitch, you get a free deck for me to play. Feel free to subscribe on YouTube to see all these decks that I'm playing here and get that notification of the decks that I'm playing. That I'm going to be putting most of them up on YouTube. So, keep up with that if you'd like. Let me know what decks you'd like me to try in the comments. I'll build some on my own as well. And you can also look at my Discord link in the bio of the YouTube video, right down in the description, if you'd like to join the Discord and let me know which decks you'd like me to play and post your deck list and see if I can play one of those. All right, this is the end of the Jumpstart Historic Horizons spoilers and set guide. Hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video.